Yeah. Oh. Live again. Brilliant. What an amazing one we have. Like every single one. Absolutely. Absolutely incredible. All right, so something is off, right? Look at this. Everywhere you look. Trump. Iran. Comey. Kimmel. Supreme Court. Oil prices. DHS funding. Even King Charles is trending. That's not random. That's a pattern. And when everything spikes at once, you have to ask, what's real, what's noise, and what's being pushed on purpose? Before we go deeper, real quick, hit like right now so this gets pushed out, subscribe, turn notifications on, and if you want your voice heard live, drop a super chat. I will read it instantly. We are building the sharpest live community on the internet, not followers, thinkers. Because this stream is different. We're not just reacting, we are decoding. DJ, lower the audio. There we go. Timing, pressure, narratives, and power moves in real time. Let's break this down fast. Trump, Iran, oil, right? So you've got Trump dealing with Iran tensions, oil supply issues, OPEC shifts, gas prices rising. That's not just foreign policy. That hits every person watching and or listening to the stream on your daily commute. And I'm going to try to make this as amazing as promised. All right. And yeah. Let us learn by you, POTUS. Mr. Donald Trump himself.
Please. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Iran,
For them to be rebuilt, having to do with electricity production and many other things. So
we've got serif, a lot of zeros. We have a Second Amendment obligation to remove Trump from our nation. Sic semper tyrannis. Please explain yourself. Thank you for jumping in on the chat, buddy. Happy to have you here.
We're not looking to do that if we don't have to. But they're the kind of things that are very easy to hit, but very devastating if they are hit. We are waiting to see what happens before we hit them. We could take them all out in one day, but it's all resulting in a 90% decline in various things, but in particular, Iranian missile launchers and 83% drop in drone launchers. As you know, the drone launchers are pretty well shot, but we're at over 90% decline in the Iranian missile launchers, which is very hard to reproduce and very hard to get. And usually what we were able to do through great equipment, a lot of smart people, as soon as they sent a missile up from a launcher, we were able to knock out that launcher within a period of 5 minutes or less.
Accuracy, that's right.
Accurately right on the noggin. So now we have low-cost interceptors effectively combating Iranian drones, and our B-2 bombers recently dropped dozens of 2,000-pound bombs to destroy missile launchers all over Iran and buried deep under Iranian soil in many cases. The soil was no match. And we're also annihilating the manufacturing base that the regime uses to build drones and missiles at a rate that nobody thought was possible. We're knocking them out. We know where they all are. We're knocking them out very quickly. We're ahead of our initial timeline by a lot. I would say that we probably would not have thought after a month we'd be here. In addition to the fact that we've taken out the leadership twice and maybe three times. And we, as you know, we want to be involved. We don't want another president that maybe wouldn't be willing to do what I'm willing to do for the good.
Never under pressure. Good morning. How you doing? Happy to have you here. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat.
The world, for the good of our nation, to be stuck with the situation in 5 years or 10 years from now. So we think they should put a president right now walking around with no legs, no arms, a face that's been so badly damaged. The Iranian regime has been attacking Americans and spreading terror for 47 years, and despite these countless opportunities to renounce their nuclear ambitions, which they had just a short while ago, they told Mr. Witkoff, who is standing right over here, they said, they actually said, we want to keep building, essentially, in a real nutshell, we want to continue to build nuclear weapons. If we didn't knock out Midnight Hammer, if we didn't knock out their Iranian potential, if we didn't do that with Midnight Hammer, they would have had a nuclear weapon. They would have used it long before now. And at a minimum, Israel would have been annihilated.
My goodness.
I was very lucky that we had the courage to do that we had the talented pilots and the great equipment. The B-2 bombers are unbelievable. We ordered 25 more, by the way. The newer, better version.
There we go.
We have the greatest military in the world. We have the greatest equipment in the world by far. You see that no matter where we go. You still need the people, though, to operate it and to use it. And those are the people that we cherish. Even after we obliterated their key nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer, they never negotiated in good faith. They still continued to say, we want to build nuclear, we want enrichment at levels that were unacceptable. And they even turned down an offer for unlimited free nuclear fuel forever for civilian purposes. We had people offering them free nuclear fuel. They weren't interested in that because they wanted to build a nuclear weapon. So instead, the regime was trying to reconstitute its weapons program at a different site. They couldn't go back to where they were, the 3 sites that we obliterated, but they were starting work at another site, a different site, different kind of a site, and that was protected by granite. They wanted it protected. Granite's pretty good, but they wanted it protected by a lot deeper. They wanted to go a lot deeper, and they started the process while rapidly building conventional ballistic missiles. They were going to do it all at the same time that threatened our overseas bases and soon could have reached even our homeland. The regime's intention was to use this exponentially growing ballistic missile threat to make it virtually impossible to prevent them from obtaining a nuclear weapon. So as you probably saw, they had a tremendous number of missiles, most of which are now being used or destroyed, and very unsuccessfully used because we have been able, for the most part, to shoot them all down. What incredible technology. The Patriots have been unbelievable, and other things. And the laser technology that we have now is incredible. It's coming out pretty soon. Where literally lasers will do the work of, at a lot less cost, do the work of what the Patriots are doing or what other things are doing. The situation was very quickly approaching the point of no return, and the United States found it intolerable, in my opinion, based on what Steve and Jared and Pete and others were telling me, Marco, so involved, that I thought that they were going to attack us. I thought they would, if we didn't do this at the time we did it, I think they had in mind to attack us. And if you know,
James Shinley, 4146 says Trump going cray. And whoever voted for that cray son of a female dog, my goodness, dropping in some heat in the chat. Oh my, oh my. Who did you vote for? Who do you think is the ideal POTUS? Thank you for the chat, buddy.
Notice they did something which was very foolish, very stupid, I would say. They attacked their neighbors. And their neighbors were largely neutral, or at least weren't going to be involved, and they got attacked. And it had the reverse effect. The neighbors came onto our side and started attacking them, and actually quite successfully. If you look at Saudi Arabia, you look at UAE,
how you doing,
Qatar,
Louis?
And others. But they were strong and they were smart, but they got attacked. Nobody, when I first heard it, I said, no, somebody made a mistake. There was no mistake. UAE had over 1,000 missiles shot at it, knocked them almost all down. On the very first day I came down the escalator in 2015, I said, quote, I will stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons, and all I'm doing is keeping my promise. Think of that. That was in 2015. I said it. It was a threat then and a much bigger threat now, but no longer a threat, not for a long time anyway. We want to keep it that way. As we continue Operation Epic Fury, we're also focused on keeping energy and oil flowing to the world, and I will not allow a terrorist regime to hold the world hostage and attempt to stop the globe's oil supply. And if Iran does anything to do that, they'll get hit at a much, much harder level. I will take out those targets that were easy and that I mentioned just before. We'll take them out so quickly, they'll never be able to recover, ever. If they want to play that game, they better not play that game in the long run.
Better not play that game. Trump is not playing any games. SMP 88 says, this nation is for happy people now. Please explain yourself. Please explain yourself. Thank you for jumping in on the chat. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications because we are going live every day of 2026. And keep the channel alive. Become a member. Add in a super chat if you would like to do so. Thank you so much.
Run oil supplies will be dramatically more secure without the threat of Iranian ships, drones, missiles, nuclear menace for American families. We've done that. We've done it. We brought it very low. This was just an excursion into something that had to be done. We're getting very close to finishing that, too. In the meantime, during this brief disruption, the United States is offering political risk insurance to any tankers operating in the Gulf. So we're putting up risk insurance. Will perhaps go along.
We got Callan 7403 saying John Kerry for 2028. There you go. How good do you think John Kerry would be? And we've got a creative one over here. We got the Wolf King 2.033 saying America's real goal is that oil planet, and there's a gasoline planet and the diamond planet. Space truckers are going to be rich. Become a space trucker. What do you mean by become a space trucker? Thank you for the chat, Wolf King. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day at 2026. Become a member.
Alongside of them for protection. We don't think it'll be necessary.
Good morning, Waffle.
It is. And if they do anything, including countries like China, they get a lot of their oil through the straits. So we're doing this. We have a very good relationship with President Xi in China. I'm going there in a short period of time.
How do you guys think that's going to happen? President Xi and POTUS, Donald Trump, what an amazing experience. I think that's going to be just absolutely fantastic. It's got to be fantastic, honestly. It's got to be. That's what I'm thinking, right? It has to be fantastic. And we got a message by Waffle Jackson 42 saying, yo, chat, it is too early in the day for TDS. Grab a coffee or some herbal tea and just chill. Thank you, Waffle Jackson. Thank you, buddy.
And we're protecting the world from what these lunatics are trying to do. And very successful to hit them at a level that they have not seen before. So we're winning very decisively. We're way ahead of schedule. Our military is the greatest in the world, with the greatest equipment and the greatest people in the world. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Just the greatest.
Iran's a very powerful country. They were going to take over the Middle East. If we did not hit them, they were going to take over the Middle East. They had thousands and thousands. Since their last hit, they had thousands and thousands of missiles and everything else. Most are now destroyed. But they were going to take over the Middle East. Those weapons were aimed at Middle Eastern countries that had nothing to do with this. They were going to take over the Middle East, and they were going to try and destroy Israel. So we stopped it with good timing, and we're very proud to be involved in this, and it's going to be ended soon. And if it starts up again, they'll be hit even harder. Thank you very much for being here. Go ahead. Any questions?
What a gentleman. What a gentleman. My goodness.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Do you approve of Iran's new supreme leader? And secondly, can you tell us more about your call with Russian President Vladimir Putin today?
Yes.
What did you discuss?
Yes, I had a very good call with President Putin. We had a lot of people on the line from our side, from his side.
We got Callan 7403 saying years to recover from this mess. And we got M1's place today saying it's not a mess. It's beautiful. That's that optimism I like to see, chat. That is brilliant.
We're talking about Ukraine, which is just a never-ending fight. And
Got to fix that.
look, there's tremendous hatred between President Putin and President Zelensky. They can't seem to get it together. But I think it was a positive call on that subject. And we obviously talked then about the Middle East. And he wants to be helpful. I said, you could be more helpful by getting the Ukraine-Russia war over with. That would be more helpful. But we had a very good talk, and he wants to be very constructive. Yeah, please.
And there we go. Callan 7403 saying, man cannot destroy what God created. Amen. 100%. Absolutely accurate.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Iran, you called it an excursion. You said it would be over soon. Are you thinking this week it will be over?
No,
Are you talking
but soon.
about days?
I think so.
Okay, and with respect
Very
to
soon. Look,
Very soon. Nice.
everything they have is gone, including their leadership. In fact, they're too
the United States get in return for that, and why should Americans trust Marco Rubio to negotiate it?
Well, Marco Rubio is doing a great job. I think he's going to go down as the greatest Secretary of State in history.
Nice.
Look at what we've done as a presidency. Look at what we've done as an administration.
We got Craig Draper 8368 saying, I will vote for 20 to 30 more terms. Go Trump. Yeah, buddy, support Donald Trump. Thank you for being on board. Happy to have you here. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Throw in a super chat if you would like.
As they say, fumes. They have no energy. They have no money. They're in deep trouble on a humanitarian basis. And we don't want to see that, but they were very, very bad to a lot of people, as you know, and a lot of people living on the Cuban-American vote, which I got at record levels. Very important.
levels.
Those people are very important to me. I know what they went through. They went through hell. Some of them have gone on to be some of the most successful people in the country. Cuban-American business people, some of them are like the most successful in the country. And a lot of them are friends of mine because I've been fighting this battle with them for a long time. The Castro regime was brutal, but they lived off Venezuela. Now they don't live off Venezuela. Sends them no energy, no fuel, no oil, no money, no nothing. They lived without Venezuela.
That's absolutely true. Whenever you're put in a situation where you have to kind of fend for yourself and, you know, be creative on how to just survive, you just become such a great person. Absolutely great person, because you don't have too much and you appreciate what you have.
They couldn't have made it, and we cut them off from everything else. So, they're going to make either a deal or we'll do it just as easy anyway. Yeah. Please, go ahead.
There's footage that shows that an American missile strike and a Tomahawk missile likely destroyed that Iranian girls' school. So will the U.S. accept any responsibility?
We got Craig Draper jumping in on the chat saying, hey, Anna, Trump is cleaning up the whole weekend at Biden's mess. There you go.
Well, I haven't
that's
seen
like-
it, and I will say that the Tomahawk, which is one of the most
We got Raphael Brown, CAJ, saying, F Trump, somebody loves Trump. There you go.
powerful weapons around, is used by, is sold and used by.
We got D. Martin 7692 saying, Trump is a hero. Just ask him. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member. We're developing the best community on the internet.
Other countries, you know that. And whether it's Iran, who also has some Tomahawks, I wish they had more, but whether it's Iran or somebody else, has been over for 3 days. We wiped them out in the first 2 days. When you think about it, it's incredible. We wiped out a big Navy, very powerful Navy. You know, these were ships, these were serious ships. These were ships that you buy when you want to win battles. They're all on the bottom floor. The sailors are all running off their ships. They refuse to get on the ships. The Air Force is gone. Everything's gone. The missiles are down to a trickle. The drones are down to probably 25%, and they'll soon be down to nothing. We'll have where they manufactured the drones are under fire as we speak. They're being hit. So the rest is going to be a determination as to my attitude, along with the people in the Trump administration, what we want to do. Thank you. Yeah, please.
Can I ask you, you mentioned you were going to waive certain additional oil waivers or sanctions. Can you talk a little bit more about that and address in particular?
Well, we're looking to keep the oil prices down. We went artificially up because of this excursion into a very positive thing. I mean, this was an excursion that a lot of people wouldn't have done. I knew oil prices would go up if I did this, and they've gone up probably less than I thought they'd go up. But I don't think anybody thought we were going to be this quickly successful. This was a military success.
We got Waffle Jackson jumping in on the chat saying, people saying F Trump, but for how long? Is he a generous? L, over. Do I bring lavender oil? These questions need answers, people. And we got M1 Splace today. For one, he closed the border. 2, he's been deporting all the illegals. 3, he stopped U.S. aid. 4, he's been stopping all the fraud. And 5, he's pushing to make elections fair. What a good man.
Success, the likes of which people haven't seen. We have the best military. We have the best equipment. We have, I believe, the best generals. We have the best bombers, which took out their nuclear capability, and they would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks to 4 weeks, and they would have used it long before this press conference, and we might have had a much different press conference if we had a press conference at all. But it's been amazing. The military success that we've had is truly unprecedented.
You've told your congressional colleagues that you will not sign any piece of legislation until the Save America Act is passed. Does that include the confirmation of Senator Mullen as your next DHS secretary? Does that mean a DHS funding bill? And Senator Thune said today it's not a matter of whether or not your Republican colleagues agree with the policy. It's about changing the process. In other words, getting rid of the filibuster to get there.
So in order to get it, you're going to need Democrat votes. And what we're saying is the Save America, not the Save Act, which nobody knew what it was, the Save America Act.
We love the Dems.
The Save America Act. And that's voter ID. We want voter ID. When a voter, we want to be able to see a picture of the voter. We want to be able to see that the voter is legitimate.
What's wrong with that? That's extremely smart, right? Stop voter fraud. That's a brilliant idea. Just, yeah. What's a better idea than that, honestly?
We want, very importantly, confirmation that this voter is a citizen of the United States of America, and we want no mail-in ballot scams. The 5 points. We have 5 very good points. It polls at 86% with Democrats. Think of that. The overall vote is 86%. With Republicans, it's 98%. And the only one opposed to it is a Democrat leadership because...
Who would have guessed? Who else would oppose that, honestly, right? We got brutal facts saying Democrats have no leadership and also saying there is no negotiating with terrorists. How can you disagree with that?
They cheat. They want to cheat. So we added those 2 points. We're going for the gold. As an example, virtually nobody has a system of mail-in ballots like we have. No other country in the world. France went away from it. They all went, you know why? Because it's corrupt. And Jimmy Carter, when he had a commission, frankly, I think it's probably the best thing Jimmy Carter did. He said, you can't have mail-in voting because it's inherently dishonest. And it's turned out to be totally dishonest, so we're going to fight for it. Yeah.
Has Iran activated any sleeper cells inside the U.S.? There's reports that they have pressed that trigger button to activate those cells, at least abroad.
Well, they've been trying for a long time. We've been very much on top of it. One of the things we have to do is get the Democrats to stop the Democrat shutdown, because, as you know, the apparatus that looks into that, Schumer and the Democrats have shut it down, which tells you they probably hate our country a lot. But the Democrats have to open that up. But we've got very, very good intelligence into that. We know a lot of different things that have happened that have been very bad. A lot of them came in during the Biden open border period, but we have them under, we've got them, we're watching every single one of them. Yeah, we know a lot about them. The biggest problem we have is the Democrat shutdown. We know a lot about them, but the shutdown doesn't allow us to do what we have to do.
Do you have to take him out? Does he have a target on his back?
You mean the new Supreme Leader? You mean the son?
How can there be an Iran with
Well,
another
I don't want to say that, but you know, I was disappointed because we think it's going to lead to just more of the same problem for the country. So I was disappointed to see their choice.
Thank you, sir. You've said you have someone in mind to be the new Iranian leadership, if not the Ayatollah's son. What are you looking for in that person? Are you looking at someone internal, given that you just said that their leadership has been decimated?
I like the
and
idea
wiped
of, internal and eternal, come to think of it. But I like the idea of internal because it works well. I mean, I think we've proven that so far in Venezuela. We have a woman, Delcy, who has been, president of the country, very respected, she's doing a great job. And it's, no disruption. We had, as you remember, Iraq, where everybody got fired. The military got fired, the police got fired, the politicians got fired. There was nobody. And you know what they turned into? ISIS. And we don't want that. We don't want that. So I would like to see people that are inside go. Now, they talk about the son of the Shah. They talk about other people. But, hasn't been there in many, many years. We have a formula that's been very good so far, and I think it'll continue to be good. The relationship is extraordinary with Venezuela, smart country. We've taken out 100 million barrels of oil. It's right now in Houston being taken care of and made so beautiful. And you have to see this at work. They have, it's brought to the refineries. It's being refined in Houston, which is made exactly for that product. And so far, but it's 100.
Craig Draper jumping in on the chat saying Trump is not afraid of press conferences like Biden was. There you go. Yeah, Biden seemed to be running away from press conferences for apparent reasons. Did you guys see that video when he was 29 years old? Boy, was he much sharper than what he was a few years ago. Interesting to see what happened. Maybe RFK Jr. knows what happened regarding nutritional deficits or things of that magnitude. But I wish the best for Joseph Biden. What a nice guy he must be. My goodness. Make sure you become a member. Throw in some super chats if you want. Subscribe. I love you.
Million barrels of oil, and now they have another 100 million barrels coming. And it's like a partnership. We're getting along so well with them. It's great for Venezuela, and it's great for the United States. Yeah, please go ahead.
Mr. President.
What's your baseline?
Where they're not going to be starting the following day to develop a nuclear weapon. Where they'll look at that man and some other people from the administration and say, all right, we're not going to do it. They were not willing to say that. And when Steve called up and he said that to me, I said, well, here we go. let's do it the hard way. But the hard way, I think, is probably the easy way. When basically I can see that
We got breaking news from boots on the ground from M1's place today saying, I work the polls in California and we don't have enough poll watchers by far. And he has, or that person has, the transcript of a call. And he was not implying that they create illegal ballots. Thank you for the chat. There you go. There you go. You know, we got the best chat in the world. Cutting edge. Live data right here before you.
they will no longer have any capacity in place, that was definite. Because they would have had a nuclear weapon within a matter of weeks. But that took place. That was a setback. But look at the number of missiles they were able to buy and make over the last 6 months. And those missiles were aimed at various countries. And when you look at over 1,000 missiles shot at like UAE, they were looking to take over the Middle East. We got there first.
Yeah, just imagine that. We got WT Mudhen76 saying Joe should have left the game as a decent vice president. Yeah, and who would have become president if he did that, you know? Very good option. But do you think that he was placed there or it was all done legitimately? What do you guys think? Talking about Joe Biden.
Lucky, I'll tell you what, the Middle East and those countries, very rich countries, are very lucky that I was less enthusiastic about going, but he was quite enthusiastic. But I felt it was something we had to do. I didn't feel we had a choice. If we didn't do it, they would have done it to us. I felt, based on the negotiations that were being had by Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and Marco and Pete, and everybody was involved, I felt that they were looking to tap us along before they hit, and I thought they were going to hit. And if they hit us first, that would have been a very bad thing.
Would have been a very bad thing. Definitely agree with POTUS. Do I sit corrected? I think I do. We got Justin23 saying Joe Biden, a nice guy? ? He has 27 offshore accounts. His family is filthy rich. He has sold our country down the drain for money. How could he, man? That is horrible. I sit corrected. Thank you for the correction, Jason. Appreciate it, buddy.
Energy from the Straits. But, hey, look, we have a good relationship with China. It's my honor to do it. Yeah.
Supreme Leader, you have called him an unacceptable choice. So does he have a target on his back? And how can you say
I don't want to say whether or not he does, because that would be inappropriate. But, hey, look, I had a target on my back because...
Many times, hasn't he? My goodness, people are just going after the POTUS. Just going after the POTUS. We got Mr. Good Citizen jumping in on the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Saying they are both corrupt.
As you people wrote pretty well, they caught the assist. Go ahead. No, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You promised the Iranian people you would help them, but it sounds like you're willing to end this fight after your military objectives have wrapped up. Isn't that a betrayal of the people?
Will I help them? I'd like to, if they can behave. But they've been very menacing. You know, they're great people. They have an amazing population. It's amazing, smart, brilliant, energetic. They have a great, I'd love to help them, but they have to be in a system that allows them to be helped. And right now they're in a system that only allows failure. And I don't want that. And I want a system that's not going to be attacking us. We want a system that can lead to many years of peace. And if we can't have that, we might as well get it over with right now. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. As of today, there have been 8 U.S. military fatalities associated with the war in Iran. How many American deaths are you willing to have in this war?
Hopefully 0, right? We got Signal Corps saying, you never believe how much self-control our president has. There you go. Self-control is so important. That's right.
Well, as I said before, when you have conflict, it's been a very big 2 days, I have to say. And we'll be heading back to Washington, D.C. right after this. And I'd like to wish everyone a very good evening. And Over the weekend, the United States military and the Israeli Defense Forces continued Operation Epic Fury very successfully. Over the past 9 days, we've carried out some of the most powerful and complex military strikes and maneuvers the world has ever seen.
Ever seen. Ever.
It was sold and used by...
All right, so here we have the 5 political violence on both sides. So there's political violence on both sides? Let's see.
Well, you are looking there at shocking new photos of suspected shooter Cole Allen taking...
All right. Good fashion choice, a little bit of black, a little bit of red. She's got that super high contrast blue on the other side. Nice.
In his hotel room just moments before he attacked the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
She didn't say allegedly, so it's like proven 100%.
The shooting marked the 3rd attempted assassination plot targeting President Trump in just 2 years. And despite fresh calls to cool the rhetoric that puts a target on Trump's back, some on the left are digging in. Governor J.B. Pritzker,
Get your shovels, y'all. Start digging.
Reacting to the DOJ indicting Comey, somehow finding a way to accuse Trump of inciting violence.
This president is guilty of inciting violence, and now he's using the First Amendment. He's going after people for exercising their First Amendment rights and claiming that they're the ones who are attacking people. This whole administration seems full of people who are just following whatever this demented president tells them to do.
Others on the left are deflecting.
Good morning, Kalichika.
Insisting that political violence is not a Democrat problem, even though Republicans have been the target of numerous attacks. Watch.
No one's legitimizing violence in any way. I have very little patience for this. Has the president faced 3 threats in the last couple of years? Absolutely. Is that abominable? Absolutely. The problem of political violence and extremism is evident on both sides.
The Democrats are blamed.
Yeah, there should be absolutely zero violence. Absolutely zero violence. Let the man just do his job, right?
All for their rhetoric. When what I hear over and over again is Democrats saying, please tone it down, please tone down the rhetoric. That's not what we stand for. And we have seen, frankly, from the other side, from Trump and others, elevated rhetoric. Now, you don't want to get a he said, she said place, but it's really infuriating.
But Vice President J.D. Vance is pushing back, telling Will Cain that rage-fueled Democrats need to take a long look in the mirror.
If you're engaged in that kind of rhetoric, you need to check yourself. If you're part of the left wing in this country, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, why is it that so many of the people who are firing guns at their political opponents agree with my perspective and listen to the same sources of information that I listen to? Maybe that suggests the left has got to tone down the rhetoric a little bit.
Yeah, Jesse, it's incredible how lopsided it is. I don't know the rose-colored glasses that they're using.
Well, the glasses are worn by 2 Democrat press flacks for Democrat presidents. Where would they get this idea, Emily, that Trump is such a threat, that he needs to be taken out? Where would they get the idea that he's such a unique danger, a genocidal dictator like Hitler, who at any day could just kill everybody in sight? Where would they get the idea that he's mentally deranged and that the cabinet and perhaps the military might have to do something about that? That he's already putting immigrants, innocent ones, in concentration camps and killing innocent fishermen? Where would they get the idea that he was a Russian traitor, a sexist, white supremacist who his slogan means really go back to when women and blacks couldn't vote? This isn't coming from the dark underbelly of the internet. This is coming from the mainstream media.
How are they allowed to do that, honestly? They're like just encouraging hate. And that's a dirty game. That's not cool at all. That's not nice. Challenge people's ideas. Don't challenge them physically, Be educated. Come on, y'all.
In the New York Times, on network TV, on network late night television. You go online and this is what they say. And they can't stop saying it because they can't dial it back. It's who they are. Everything they're saying defines everything about them. If you strip out the hate, they
Is that true? Seems like he might be hitting on something there.
have nothing. There's no policy. There's no agenda. They can't have an executive say, hey, you know, guys, maybe don't book the guy that calls Trump Hitler. Maybe don't have him on again.
Sounds like a victimization, I guess, you know, like instead of liberal, would they be considered victimeral?
You know the rundown where you're calling him a genocidal maniac, conducting illegal wars and raping and pillaging people? Maybe you don't use that tonight. No one's telling them that because hate is profitable. And until you break the business model, you're never going to be able to tear this system apart. And that's what it is. It's about money. And that's why it's being driven so strongly, because the ratings are going down. And you can see as the ratings go down, the hatred and the insanity goes up, and it's going to reach a breaking point pretty soon.
Well, some argue, Dana, the breaking point is 3 assassination attempts on the president, that by the grace of God, he survived them. But I mean, what the future, it seems really terrifying. And to your point, I was under the table with a lot of journalists that use words like crystal knocked and likened his campaign rally here at MSG to Nazi Germany and Hitler-esque. I mean, these are words that are in headlines in these mainstream media journals.
There you go. Those words should not be in headlines. My goodness. Come on. That hateful rhetoric. Just not beneficial. What would happen if both sides just worked together to make the world a better place? To make America great again? Or would they just not be allowed to do that because their ego would stop them? Because Trump coined that MAGA, make America great again. But it would be beneficial to both sides just to, you know, move the ego aside and make America great again. That would be brilliant. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026. Throw in a super chat if you want.
Journalists.
Well, unity was over by the time President Trump finished the press conference on Saturday night. But I really think in some ways, obviously there are people on cable news hits, but I was mentioning yesterday, but since this is a new group, I will say it again, because I keep thinking about where everybody is in the muck and in the soup. And there's the cable news, yes, okay, and the media, yes, okay. But where people are mostly getting information is online. Sure. And that is where it is really just disgusting, filled with conspiracy theories. We're going to probably talk about that in a little bit as well, as we did yesterday, as we should. The one thing I wonder about the Democrats is there's a lot of them who want to be president and they want to run in 2028. So they keep doing the same thing over and over again. There's been 3 assassination attempts. We have the same thing happen each time. There's a call for unity or a call for calming down the rhetoric. And then they'll say, okay, yeah, we should do that, but he should do that. And then within 30 minutes, it's over and everybody's going back. And I just wonder, is there a Democrat out there who is smart enough to say, I'll do something different. Mr. President, could we meet? Could we come in? There's just 3 things we'd want to work on. 1, 2, 3. And maybe we could figure out something to do. Like, I'm willing to meet you halfway. Could you meet me halfway? Could we come see you? Of course the president's going to say, yes, he'll meet with anybody that's willing to have a good faith conversation. And so
that's what a level-headed person should do, right? Communicate, negotiate, be fair. No reason not to. Come on.
Is there a Democrat who has the courage to think about not just catering to the far left-wing base of the party, but to actually lead more in a way that says, I'm willing to do something different and to try to change the trajectory of these things that would maybe change the conversation, maybe get a few things done. Like, there are some big problems that the country is facing that we could all maybe use some unity on, and at least going forward. And have somebody moderate the conversation. Maybe it's Harold. Maybe Harold and I go together and we moderate this conversation. I mean, there seems to me there's a room for something new and different if somebody's willing to pivot.
That's
I
a good
love that
idea.
suggestion, Harold, and especially because it benefits the American people whom the Democrats serve, as do Republicans. But I note that it seems to me that any Democrat that tries to do that in any primaries or by their colleagues, they are slandered and slammed as allying with Donald Trump, that being bipartisan is actually a negative against their history, that somehow being defiant and engaging in this violent rhetoric is the only way for their stock to remain approved on the Democrat side.
I don't know about that. I think it probably goes both ways. It may, you see Tom Massey and others who differ with the president. They face some primary challenges, but it's good to be with everybody. I hope you guys had a great time at the dinner celebrating our country and the 250 years. I'm reminded of King Charles as we talk about this because I thought his speech yesterday was outstanding. I wasn't on the show yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to comment. The seriousness of the speech, the way he appealed to the best of us, and even when he talked about his differences and our country's differences, he talked about it, whether it be NATO or other things. He talked about it with such.
We got a message from somebody called M0 saying, why ooh play so much MAGA Fox? What should I play? What do you think? What's better? Thank you for your chat, buddy. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We are going live every day of 2026. Throw in a super chat.
Calm dignity and a sense that and a belief in sharing with the American people, those who follow these things closely or those who don't. I think sometimes we're so invested in some of these conversations and some of these narratives and arguments that we can forget that a lot of Americans, if not the.
And also, if you have a request, throw in a super chat and we can react to it together. Let me know. We're developing the best community over here. Let's have some fun.
The overwhelming majority of our audience are working their tails off and watch us for a little news or for a little entertainment or for both. And yesterday, a lot of people were being introduced to him. And I thought the way he talked about our differences, the U.S. and the UK on NATO and other things was so great. Now, I've set my piece on this issue. And I think that, and I'll just repeat the highlights of it. I think that if we don't accept the fact that we're all drowning in all of this rhetoric, the negative rhetoric, I don't doubt, nor do I dispute that Democrats are probably the biggest generators of it now, the negative things, the awful things. But Emily and everyone around the table, I'll remind us, we are steeped, unfortunately, in a tradition of violence in our country, and even political violence at times. The data shows that the last 10 years, maybe right-wing groups were more responsible for some of it. In the last year and a half, this is just the data, the last year and a half, Democrats or the left-wing leaning groups have certainly been the biggest agitators. And according to the data, more of it is coming from left-wing or Democrats and others. Now, I take no solace over the last 10 years or contentment or inspiration because the violence may have been coming from right-leaning groups. Nor should anyone take any solace because it may be coming from left-leaning groups. We're all going to be devoured by this rhetoric if our political body and political system is unable to function because as I said the other day, there's a rot in our country. But I want to be clear. I'd go with Dana anywhere. Dana asked me to go to talk about politics and to talk about trying to solve things because I think at the end of the day, if all we do, and I tried to say it yesterday or 2 days ago, if all we do is retreat to a crouch saying it's them, they're the problem, then we're not going to solve the problem. There's nothing wrong with saying it's them to try to let everybody know that they made a mistake. But if it's them because we're getting some contentment or satisfaction that it's not us, I think that's a dangerous thing. So Dana, I'm signed up with you. If they let us in at the White House, I'm with you.
Where are we going?
And Greg, we're learning that the right-wing extremist violence was actually funded by the left-wing extremists. So that it seems to be that per your point, recently it is coming all from one source. And it would be nice if the leadership had any attempt at quelling it.
Too much damage coming from one side, right? Way too much damage. My goodness.
Yeah, and also the research that the media uses to kind of equate both sides is incredibly flawed. A joke even. I mean, I could just list the types of crimes, whether it is ambushes. We remember the ambushes. We remember the sustained rioting, the sustained looting, the attacks on government facilities, the attacks on law enforcement, businesses, individuals, religious institutions. It's like something nearly 500 in the past, 7 years that could be linked to the left. One.
That's horrible. Any lefties in the chat able to defend that? Not good to attack law enforcement.
To the right, January 6th, and that has been exploited. We know that. I am going to say let's just ignore the rhetoric. We're never going to get past that. The rhetoric thing is done. It's a tradition in America to say bad things about people. So why don't we just ask who's guilty of the violence? That's the avoidance that we're seeing in the media. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get us into the battle over rhetoric. Well, you guys do it too. Well, I do it too. Okay, then let's just find out what side's words lead to violence. Because I agree with you, Trump says some really mean things, but we don't kill the Democrats afterwards. Liberals won't advance to that next step. They want you to believe it's about the quantity of rhetoric when it's really the quantity of violence from the rhetoric. The Dems simply compare the rhetoric divorced from the sustained violence. It is that simple, and I'm invested in that. I'm invested in that a lot. I am very wary of people who say both sides, and I think because it betrays, it's a confession. When somebody says both sides are doing it, they're not denying that they're doing it. Yeah, you got me.
But I want to be clear.
Wait, no, I'm not talking about you, Harold.
I'm guilty of what you said. I admit both sides do it. I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then let me. When somebody says both sides do it, they aren't defending their side. They're just saying you do it too. So instead of arguing against the accusation, they expand the definition of what it is. So I'm just talking about violence, okay? That was created by political instruction to do so. By all means necessary, eliminate. But they said, well, you call Democrats communists. You call them losers and creeps. Not the point. I'm just talking about the sustained violence. So when they say on both sides, they are basically just shifting, I hate to say goalposts, but they're changing it. My last point, then I'll shut up. We're all familiar with the broken windows theory, where visible signs of disorder create a lack of societal control. And that encourages.
Someone used a word in the chat, and it is poppycock. Poppycock is a noun meaning nonsense, foolishness, or absurd talk. It is used to dismissive ideas as untrue or ridiculous, often functioning as an old-fashioned synonym for balderdash, bunk, or rubbish. The term originated in the 1850s from the Dutch dialect papekak, literally meaning soft dung. Thank you for throwing in some funny words, Cranky Mullet. Happy to have you in the chat. Make sure you all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day at 2026.
For more and more serious crimes. Where did this left-wing violence come from? Well, how many instances have we seen in the last 10 years where conservatives were targeted on campus?
He's bringing that up. And we also have Robin Wyckoff saying, I will let you all know if you did not get into gold 6 years ago, you missed the bus.
Pro-lifers get attacked, Riley Gaines gets swarmed, speakers are mobbed, vandalism everywhere. Countless attacks. Nobody gets charged. Tolerance towards that violence was the broken window theory that now makes it seem to younger people, young men, that violence is now more acceptable. It's the same kind of incubation you see on city streets, where, vandalism, public urination, then leads to mugging. So
That's a really good point, the broken window theory on political violence.
But Greg, just for back when years ago, there were people who were pro-abortion, people who were for abortion who were being attacked. You had abortion clinics being blown up. My only point is, I'm not denying that the violence is probably worse on one side today than it was before. But we can't ignore the fact that violence has been a part because rhetoric has led them to it. What I'm saying is I'm not comfortable, and I'm not saying you are either. I'm not saying it's okay if it's a Republican.
I'm not talking about you,
and I think
Harold.
some people, and I'm not talking about you. I think some people are okay with it, saying it's them. When I'm telling you, it's going to come for all of us if we don't find ways to deal with the
But if it does come for all of us, it's not going to come from us.
Yeah,
I disagree because it has come from a side.
Give me. Well, we've done this before.
Abortion activist people, abortion clinics being blown up. Charleston, the guy going into a prayer group and saying, "I'm killing you because you're black."
Do you want me to go through the 500 examples?
No, but Greg, I think it goes to his word. You don't like the words. It's both sides. And to me, what both sides means is America. We've got to solve this for America.
I think we're talking past each other.
No, I think we're talking to each other. I'm going to talk.
You know what? I'm going to talk behind your back.
I'm going to talk about you. If you just are talking about political violence, though, graduation matters. And when you talked about those words, when you said loser, when you said creep, when you said communist, those aren't words that put death targets on people's back. Name me one Republican president that has not been called a Nazi. You can't name one. Well, that's the issue on the left, and that's what puts targets.
What did they call Republicans before Hitler?
I don't know.
Mean-spirited.
Awesome.
Be sure to like and
Wait a minute.
Words. When you said loser, when you said creep, when you said communist, those aren't words that put death targets on people's back. Name me one Republican president that has not been called a Nazi. You can't name one.
Chat. Name one. Do we have one? Do we or do we not? We got a new poll coming up. This is a cool one. Very cool one. It's what drives political tension more today. Media coverage, like we see now. Politicians' rhetoric, like we listen to quite often. Social media users, or outside global factors. So allegedly the top Iran leader runs away from Tehran as Russia betrays Iran. Fake news, real news, what's happening?
Iran is falling apart in front of our
Crypto. Recall says, no, you started it.
eyes, and even regime officials know it. For decades, the Islamic Republic told the world that it would never beg for help. The regime built its entire identity around the doctrine of self-reliance, the resistance economy, and the proud claim that Iran would stand alone against the world if it had to. That's how the Islamic Republic maintained power despite all the sanctions and despite its own population hating the regime. Well, this war and the US blockade is now changing all of that. Just yesterday, the Iranian foreign minister ran away to Russia to beg for help from Vladimir Putin. The same Putin who can't even protect his own refineries. And Iran wants help from Russia to survive. Now, before we jump into this Russia-Iranian meeting, let me show you what President Trump put out just this morning. Iran has informed us that they are in a state of collapse. They want us to open the Strait of Hormuz as soon as possible as they try to figure out their leadership position, which I believe they will be able to do. Now, the state of collapse that Trump is referring to likely has to do with Iran's economics.
The dread pirate Rob says both sides are horrible. There you go.
Situation and the US blockade that's
thank you for your chat, buddy.
Choking off Iran's economic lifeline. For more than 2 weeks now, Iran has not been able to carry out trade like normal. There are no exports going out and there are no imports coming in. In fact, we have new satellite data.
We got Craig Draper saying the January 6th violence was actually caused by leftists who infiltrated the crowd, posing as the right. How could they? How dare them? My goodness. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, going live every day of 2026.
Data showing Iranian ports that are getting a bit too crowded because ships are not able to leave Iranian waters. There's a blockade in the Gulf of Oman. That means ships can load up in Iranian ports, they can cross the Strait of Hormuz, but they cannot get any further. And that's why Gulf of Oman is getting a bit too crowded, especially in Iran.
War is Peace. MPA says, where's the all of the above button? Oh, man. Good idea. Good. Next time, buddy. Next time.
Iranian waters. For the Iranian economy, this blockade is a double whammy, meaning they're getting squeezed from both sides. First, they don't have any revenue coming in because they depended on exports and now exports are not going out. But secondly, they don't have any imports coming. A lot of Iranian food depended on imports coming in from other countries.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Does that mean hunger for Iran? Hunger is like the worst thing in the world. Oh, my goodness.
And that is now not coming in, and that's why the economy is getting squeezed from both sides, and the Iranian officials are truly scared. Take a look at this new report. Iranian officials are now getting worried about protests restarting. In fact, just yesterday, Iran's Supreme National Security Council held a meeting to address the growing concerns among security agencies over a possible resurgence of protests like the one that Iran saw in January.
Yeah, that would be horrible for Iran if they started protesting again. That's like the last thing the government wants for sure, because once their own people turn on them, then it's difficult for everybody. We got Waffle Jackson jumping in on the chat saying, at Crank Mullet. I mean, if we want to say who started the violent rhetoric, Democrats extinguished Lincoln. I think we start there and work forward. Very, very great chat. Thank you for adding into the chat, Mr. Waffle.
This meeting was convened following internal assessments and intelligence reports warning of a potential unrest in the coming days. According to information presented, officials in Iran believe mounting economic hardship like rising prices, unemployment, damage to petrochemical and steel industries could become the main trigger for renewed protest. Estimates shared during the meeting suggested that Iran's economy may not be able to withstand more than 6 to 8 weeks of US naval blockade. Now, this is where I do want to clarify. This estimate is from the Iranian point of view, so it's going to be a little bit more optimistic. And on top of that, this is talking about the economic situation in Iran, not the old stories that we have been talking about for the last few days. Now, I do have new numbers on the Iranian oil storage and when they will run out. But before we get to that, let's finish up this report. As some of you guys may remember, the US blockade began on April 13th. That means it's been around for more than 2 weeks now. And Iran just cannot sustain this kind of shutdown of its economy. But you see, this isn't the only thing that's hurting the Iranian economy. Another major concern that was raised during this meeting was the near total shutdown of Iranian internet. According to Iranian security officials.
Yeah, once they shut down the internet, things go bad, honestly. They go pretty bad pretty quick. How much people rely on the internet these days is incredible. For, GPS, traveling, they don't use the Thomas Guide or printed maps like MapQuest. They use Google Maps or Apple Maps or Android Maps or some other type of maps to help them get around and to communicate. Man, it just inhibits them so much without the internet.
So people who work for the regime, well, according to them,
RMS dropping in on the chat saying peace, love, and happiness. That's amazing. Yeah. And by the way, we're going live every day at 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, throw in a super chat.
The internet shutdown has left around 20% of the workforce, especially people who work online, basically unemployed. They can't do anything, and that means an additional 2 million people could lose their jobs in private sectors because of the unemployment that has been caused by the internet shutdown. Now, just a reminder for everyone who hasn't been...
Captain Blackbird has joined the chat, and we have ETMAH saying, what's happening here? We're trying to find the truth over here, buddy. Welcome to the best chat on the internet. I hope you enjoy yourself.
Been following. The Iranian internet has been shut down for more than 2 months now. We have passed the 60 days mark. 99.9% of Iranians just cannot access the internet or connect with the rest of the world. That's more than 90 million people. That alone tells you everything you need to know about who Iranian officials are truly scared of. The regime doesn't want the Iranian public to connect with the world and connect with each other because they know protest will restart and they can't afford a repeat of January. The regime came days away from losing power, and that's exactly why they're willing to sacrifice their economy. They're willing to sacrifice everything to maintain their grip on power. Now, coming back to the...
Is that just ego? What's going on? What is going on? Come on.
Meeting that took place in Iran, the security agencies inside of Iran basically conclude that the public protests are inevitable. They're gonna restart. The only uncertainty is the timing of when they will restart. They don't know when it will happen. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen a few months for tomorrow. And that's the thing that we're...
Absolutely, Captain Blackbird. Captain Blackbird says legal immigration is a good thing. People should have the opportunity to migrate to another country if they wish that and conform to their rules, meaning conform to the country they immigrate to or migrate to. Yeah, that's extremely important. But if you try to force your own rules and you break the laws of the new country, you become a criminal. And that's absolutely not smart.
Worries them. That's why regime officials are panicking and they're trying to figure out any solution they can to get some kind of breathing room. Now, yesterday we talked about how Iran sent a proposal to the United States that would reopen the Strait of Hormuz if the United States lifts its naval blockade. From the US point of view, this makes no sense. This war was started because of Iran's nuclear ambitions. And there's not going to be a negotiation until Iran addresses that. US has no interest in giving Iran a lifeline while it's suffering. Now, Iran realizes that, and that's exactly why right after sending their proposal to the United States, the Iranian foreign minister actually ran away to Russia to beg for help from Putin. Now, before we get into what he did in Russia, just a quick reminder to hit the like and subscribe button down below. Every time we bring up Russia, we have some Russian bots just downvoting our videos. And that means on your screen, you can see the footage that was released by Russian state media when the Iranian foreign minister landed in St. Petersburg to meet with Putin. Now, we also have more footage that basically shows them meeting and talking with each other before they had a 2-hour closed doors meeting.
This says, just in, video shows Iranian foreign minister Araghchi arriving in Russia for talks with the president. Put in. There you go. Good morning, Tara Matthews. How you doing? All right. It's a pretty far distance, Russia and Iran, but all right. What's going to happen now? We shall see.
Now, the funniest part actually took place before the meeting because Tehran clarified going into this meeting saying that, hey, Iranian diplomats are not going to Russia to ask for charity. Now,
not asking for charity. All right. Does that mean they are asking for charity, doing that reverse psychology thing? You never know. We're going live every day at 2026, so make sure you subscribe, like, turn on those notifications. And if you like the channel and want to support the channel, you could always add a super chat or become a member.
I'm not sure what led them to clarify that, but in my opinion, it's never a good thing when you have to start off a meeting saying, hey guys, we're not here to beg. We are here to coordinate with you because you're our partner. But nonetheless, from Iranian point of view, they don't think Russia has been pulling its weight. You see, when Putin launched his invasion of Ukraine, Iran helped Russia tremendously. They provided Russia with Shahed drones, ballistic missiles, and even sent Iranian engineers to Russia to build factories that now produce Shahed drones for Russia inside of Russian territory. Unfortunately,
we got Cranky Mullet saying what you want is for people to come here and leave their culture where they came from. That's a ridiculous sentiment. If you decide to obey the laws, does that mean you are leaving your culture? Well, if your culture is to break the laws and stay in your country, you're not welcome in the new country, I'd assume. Obey the laws.
Fortunately, Russia has not been able to return that favor in Iran's time of need. Now, that's not to say that Russia has not been helping Iran. They of course have been. We have already covered how Russian satellites used to go over US bases when the war was ongoing before the ceasefire, and literally days after that happens, Iran is able to target that US base or even target an apartment building where Russian satellites are basically giving coordinates to Iran, so Iran can program that into their drones, and then we have a strike that does pretty substantial damage, So Russia was helping Iran as much as they could, but as you guys may know, Putin is a little bit preoccupied in Ukraine. So he's not been able to give the help that Iran desperately needs. So it will be interesting what happens, what comes out of this meeting. As I said, there was a 2-hour closed doors meeting, so we don't exactly know what was discussed. What was interesting is that the Russian security services head was part of this meeting. This is something we saw last year during the 12-day war when an Iranian delegation went to Russia to basically discuss the war, discuss a bunch of stuff that we don't know about because it happens behind closed doors. But the fact that the security head was part of this meeting does mean that Iran did talk about what they're going to do in case the war restarts. But then again, that could be me just speculating. We don't exactly know, but we will find out if something happens in the future. I try not to pay attention to what these people say, especially officials from like Russia, China, or Iran. I try to focus on what they do. So if Russia does do something in the future to help Iran, we'll know exactly what was discussed in this meeting. As of right now, the statements that were put out by both sides after this meeting, well, it wasn't that interesting. It didn't really share any insights into what was really discussed, what was important, what was not. But nonetheless, I'm sure we'll figure that out in the future.
We got a chat from EI692 saying, what is Island Man Trump up to now? Good question, good question.
Now, another problem that Iran is dealing with is oil storage. Yesterday, Kepler released a report estimating exactly how long Iran has. Kepler is a global research firm that provides data to major oil companies, so clearly important what they're saying, and they estimate that Iran has enough unused storage to last maybe 12 days or maybe up to 22 days. So they don't have an exact number because, as you guys can guess, Iran is not being transparent about the storage they have. But nonetheless, based on all the stuff we know about Iran before this war started, Kepler predicts that they maybe have up to 22 days, and that's being really optimistic. They also shared something interesting. According to their research, they have not observed any tankers successfully evading the US blockade in the region around the Gulf of Oman. That means even if Iran is loading up tankers, they are not able to sail out to the customers. They are getting stuck in the Persian Gulf or in the Gulf of Oman. And remember, this is where I want to clarify because there's been a lot of misinformation that's been going around. The US blockade is only on tankers and ships that are going into Iranian ports or coming out of Iranian ports. It doesn't matter what country the ship belongs to. And secondly, the blockade line is outside of the Gulf of Oman. It's right on the border of the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea.
The Gulf of Oman. Oh, man. The Gulf of Oman. So the Gulf of Oman is, can we see that, chat? Yeah, we can. Just to the south of Iran. This area here. That's pretty cool picture. You got a little silhouette going on. You got some nice architecture happening over here. All right.
And that's very important because we see a lot of reports basically saying, hey, an Iranian tanker just crossed the Strait of Hormuz. But it does not make a difference because...
Good morning, filet of fishish.
US is not really blockading the Strait of Hormuz, so it doesn't matter. They can go to an Iranian port, load up on oil, cross the Strait of Hormuz, but then they're stuck in the Gulf of Oman. They're not able to get out. And secondly, if a tanker is, let's say, going to a Saudi port or an Iraqi port or anything else, any Gulf countries, well, that tanker is not being blockaded by the United States. It's free to go to wherever it wants. So if a tanker like that gets out, that doesn't mean the US blockade is not successful. Now, another way to see how effective the US blockade truly has been is satellite images, and more specifically, focusing on how many ships that are basically cluttering up in the Gulf of Oman because they get oil from Iranian ports, they cross the Strait of Hormuz, but then they're...
We got Joe Mama 7260 saying, that is BS. Quite a few Chinese tankers and an LNG, liquid natural gas tanker, has went through. Thank you for your chat, buddy. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We are going live every day of 2026. Become a member if you want.
They're stuck. They cannot go out. As you can see from the satellite image on your screen, it's very hard to see. But if you can pause, if you're on a computer or on a bigger screen, you see some white dots in the water. This is the waters of Gulf of Oman. Those white dots are basically tankers just floating in the Gulf of Oman because the US Navy tells them, hey, if you try to evade the blockade, it's not going to be good for you. So some of these tankers try it, they get a message from the US Navy on the radio, and they just turn around, they just hang out in the Gulf of Oman until the blockade ends, which it has been going for roughly 2 weeks now, and it's likely going to continue going until there's a peace deal. Now, talking about a peace deal, it seems Iranians are getting ready to provide the United States with another peace plan after the United States rejected the one they sent yesterday. Sources say Iran is expected to submit a revised peace proposal within days. Mediator...
Oh, Captain Black. There we go. Supporting the channel, dropping €2. Everybody loves you, Captain Black. You're incredible. Veronica, we gotta come in here. For all the new users, send Captain Black a W, and you can thank him for bringing Veronica over here to do a push-up.
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best.
Go on and do your push-ups, Veronica. Oh my gosh, Veronica loves Captain Black. Everybody loves Captain Black. Thank you so much. Support the channel and donate at least a little bit. There you go. Thank you so much. Everybody loves you, Captain Black. Yeah. Be like Captain Black, y'all. Support the channel. Help us stay afloat. And make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day at 2026.
Leaders in Pakistan expect an updated Iranian offer very soon. The US rejected the earlier plan for delaying nuclear talks. The foreign minister is consulting with leadership in Tehran, but communication with Iran's top leadership is being described as difficult and slow. The process remains fluid and depends on Iran's revised terms. Now, luckily, yesterday we had Secretary of State Marco Rubio give his first interview since the ceasefire began. And in that interview, he talks about what issues are holding up a deal with Iran. So let's take a listen.
What do you see as the main roadblock to an agreement with the Iranian government?
Well, other than the fact that the country is run by radical Shia clerics, that's a pretty big impediment. The other is that they're deeply fractured internally. And I think that's always been the case, but I think it's far more pronounced now. The best way to understand Iran is you have a political class. Now, I think, look, people talk about moderates and hardliners. They're all hardliners in Iran. But there are hardliners who understand they have to run a country and an economy, and there are hardliners that are completely motivated by theology. The hardliners that are motivated by theology are not just the IRGC officials, but obviously the supreme leader and the council that surrounds him.
Do you believe that Iran's new supreme...
Oh my God, Captain Blackbird, no way. Gifted 5 memberships, level inner circle. What a legend. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, you guys are unreal. I love every single one of you. This is unreal. This is the best stream in the world. I love every single one of you. Unreal. 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 Veronica, come back over here. Come back over here.
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best.
Go, Veronica. Anything Mr. Captain Blackbird 7 wants, you gotta just go on and support him. Veronica loves you, Captain Blackbird. There you go. I love every single one of you. We're developing the best community in the world here, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and learn something with all of us. I love all of you.
Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei is alive?
Well, we have indications that he is. Obviously, they claim that he is. We don't have evidence that he's not. But I think the unresolved questions here are, does he have the same credibility as his father did? You know, we know that for many, many years, at least I know that for many years, there's been internal debates in Iran about succession and whether it should be, hereditary based. Should it be this? There are a lot that are resistant to that. Does he have the clerical credentials to actually act as supreme leader? Is he actually making the decisions, or is there some?
Oh, Roy Vowels. That's not the right thing to do, buddy. If Captain Blackbird wants, you're gonna be put on a timeout, buddy. Because we got options. We can put you on a few different types of timeouts. So yeah, you don't really want to attack a person on this chat. You can definitely attack an idea, but you definitely do not want to attack a person. So, yeah, just to let you know, buddy.
Somebody standing in his stead who's basically controlling 90% of it and is the one actually making decisions on his behalf. We don't know the answers to these questions.
Now, this is where things get a little interesting, especially about the Supreme Leader. We are getting mixed messages out of Iran. As we covered a few days ago, we had an IRGC event in a major Iranian city where they put up the picture of the new Supreme Leader on this mural that's celebrating everyone who has died in this war. That was a bit confusing considering it was an IRGC event, but nonetheless, the official Iranian position is that the Supreme Leader is injured and still alive. Now, yesterday, we actually got a little bit more information relating to that, and we actually got that information from Putin.
Okay, Captain Blackbird, just at me if you want me to do one of those things. But all right, cool. I love it that you guys can have some fun banter over there. That makes me happy.
Putin hinted during his meeting with the Iranian foreign minister that he received a message from Mojtaba Khamenei, the new Supreme Leader who still hasn't appeared in public. He said, "Convey to the Supreme Leader my appreciation for his message and best wishes for his good health." Now, I feel like this was a written message, not something like a call or a video call, because why would Putin say, "Convey my appreciation for his message," and not say, "Thank you for the call," or something like that? Which again, if this was, let's say, a letter or something, it does leave a lot of doubt about whether the Supreme Leader is alive or not. Anyone could write a message and pretend that it's from the Supreme Leader, and we still haven't seen or heard from him. Anyways, let's go back to Rubio. He was also asked about the Iranian proposal that we covered yesterday, where Iran said basically, hey, let's talk about the Strait of Hormuz and the blockade right now, and we'll end the war and then talk about the nuclear stuff in the future.
End the war,
Iranian
please,
officials were basically like, the nuclear stuff, that's not a big deal. Let's talk about that after this blockade and all that. Well, here's Rubio's response. Take a listen.
Reports do indicate Iran has offered to open the straits, but they want to delay conversations about their nuclear program. Would this be acceptable to the Trump administration?
Well, again, I'm not going to speculate about the president's decision-making on this matter. Suffice it to say that the nuclear question is the reason why we're in this in the first place. If Iran was just a radical country run by radical people, but, it'd still be a problem. But they are revolutionary. In essence, they seek to expand and export their revolution. Not just what they do in Iran. That's why they're with Hezbollah in Lebanon. That's why they've supported Hamas. That's why they've supported the militias in Iraq. They don't just seek to dominate Iran. They seek to dominate the region. And imagine that with a nuclear weapon. Look what they've done with the Straits. Great example. The Straits is basically the equivalent of an economic nuclear weapon that they're trying to use against the world. And they're bragging about it. They're putting up billboards in Tehran bragging about how they can hold 25% or 20% of the world's energy hostage. Imagine if those same people had access to a nuclear weapon. They would hold the whole region hostage.
Now, this is something we have covered on the channel too. Imagine a country that's willing to attack its own allies. Qatar was supposed to be an Iranian ally. Oman is most definitely an Iranian ally to this very day. But from an Islamic Republic point of view, that did not matter because they saw this war as an existential threat to their power and to their survival. So they were willing to burn down the whole region just to survive. And that's why they started attacking their allies, and they're also attacking civilian tankers and civilian ships in international waters. Iran basically went on a terrorism rampage to survive because what they saw as an end of the regime. Now, imagine a regime like that having nuclear weapons. No one in the world would be safe. Now, moving on, Rubio was also asked about if Iran is actually serious about a deal or the leadership has gone completely insane. Take a listen to his answer.
Do you believe the Iranians are serious about making a deal?
I think the Iranians are serious about getting themselves out of the mess that they're in. All the problems Iran had, they had riots a few months ago, and these were economic riots. All the problems that Iran had before the start of this conflict are still in place, and most of them are worse. And now they have half the missiles, none of the factories, and no navy.
If there is no deal, what comes next?
Well, again, that's the president's decision to make. I would start out by reminding everybody that the level of sanctions on Iran are extraordinary. The pressure on Iran is extraordinary, and I think more can be brought to bear. But I hope that in the aftermath of this conflict, the whole world's eyes have been opened to the threat Iran poses.
Now, to understand why Iran is behaving the way it's behaving right now, we have to go back and look at how Iran got to where it is today. That doesn't just mean going back to 1979 when the Islamic Revolution took place. In fact, we have to go further back to when the Qajar dynasty was ruling Iran in the 19th century and look at how the decisions the ruling class made back then still affects Iran to this very day. Well, guess what? That's exactly what we're doing in our multi-part podcast that just came out today. So if you're someone who's interested in the history of Iran and how we got to where we are today, definitely go check it out. You can watch it by clicking the links in the description, or you can just...
Yeah, man. I think the most concerning thing here is... Where'd it go? Where's the picture? Come on. Come on. That this isn't hanging on the bedrooms of many liberals and Democrats. No, I'm kidding. But I'm just so happy. I'm so happy right now. Like that we're all getting along. We're having fun over here. It's unreal. And I guess who is the world's most vile person in the world? And allegedly it's not one of these guys. And it might be a female. According to Time magazine, we have Candace Owens.
All right, you guys, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. All right, you guys, quick shout out to Nimi Skincare for supporting today's show. I am very intentional about what brand off, because despite my, I think I got a lot of accomplishments out here. I'm podcasting independently. I had to rebuild my entire.
Waffle Jackson's saying, I'm still saying Hillary. All right. There you go. Filet-O-Fish says, she's a dumpster fire. What is a dumpster fire? Wham! That's a dumpster fire. Dumpster fire is a slang term defined as an utterly calamitous or mismanaged situation or occurrence, effectively describing a disaster that is unsalvageable, while the literal phrase refers to a fire in a large trash bin, often called a dumpster after the Dempster brand. Its metaphorical usage began appearing as early as 2003 and gained widespread traction in 2010 within American sports and to 2016 during the U.S. presidential election. Oh, what did they say during the 2016 presidential election? Dumpster fire became a defining metaphor for the 2016 presidential election, while widely used to describe the chaotic and acrimonious nature of the campaign. The term gained prominence during the election cycle, associated with the contentious rhetoric and behavior of Republican nominee Donald Trump, including his July 2015 remarks disparaging Senator John McCain's military service. There we go. W's in the chat for Filet-O-Fish for using the word dumpster fire.
YouTube channel from scratch after being gloriously publicly fired and hanged for suggesting that genocide is always wrong. Despite all of that and taking this podcast #1 globally with a very small team.
EI says Trump created a dumpster fire in Iran. Man, hopefully you're wrong, brother.
I just don't win anything. So you can imagine that when I found out that Donald Trump was publicly announcing me, naming me, Candace Owens, as Time's Person of the Year, there was this little glimmer of hope, right? I'm not going to lie. Here is what he sent out on Truth Social. He wrote,
Roy Vowles jumping in the chat saying, Zionism started the WAR in Iran.
Candace Owens' stock, which was never very high, has fallen a long way. Her attack on the First Lady of France is despicable. I
Jigsaw Player has jumped in on the chat.
believe in this case, without verification, she is an extremely low IQ individual. Look at that photo. Ouch. Yikes. I'm not looking too hot, right? And also, like, why? What was going on that day between me and Trump, or even in the previous week? Like, actually, to what do I owe this dishonor? And hasn't he already said this? Is he kind of repeating himself here? He called me low IQ. He's already asserted that I was uglier than Brigitte. That actually.
What is Brigitte's last name? Somebody in the chat. Let's do a comparison.
Between the two of us, it's not even close. Does he feel like his point was not delivered effectively the first 4 times that he made it? Yeah, this is actually the 4th tweet about me in the span of 2 weeks from the leader of the free world. What is going on? Before we get to who demanded that the tweet be sent, it wasn't Trump, we should address the...
We got to get like a kind of good one, right? So we copy the image address. Where are you at? There we go. New tab, paste it in. So we can do some left and right. What do you think, chat? They could be sisters. They look very similar, actually. Surprisingly similar. Nine. As in German 9, which means no, or 9 out of 10?
The points that are made within it, because what actually was he trying to accomplish?
Oh, did I get the wrong Bridget? Chris J jumping in the chat. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Is that who it is? Or am I gonna... See ya, Cali Chica. Have a good day. That's a nice picture of her. Oh.
Claims that he made it. Yeah, this is actually the 4th tweet about me in the span of 2 weeks from the leader of the free world. What is going on? Before we get to who demanded that the tweet be sent, it wasn't Trump, we should address the points that are made within it, because what actually was he trying to accomplish with it? What actually was the administration trying to accomplish with that tweet? Okay. Well, the first was a little bit of politicking, to be sure. By now, you are plenty aware that Washington, D.C. runs on blackmail and secrets, right? They send operators out to find your deepest, darkest, most humiliating secrets that you wouldn't want the public to know. And once they discover these secrets, you're kind of presented with really just 2 options. One, fall into line, deliver the talking points. If you're in Congress, vote how we want you to vote. If you're in media, say what we want you to say. And we'll make sure the public never finds out. Or, here's your other option, don't stand against us and we will reveal all. We will make your lives miserable. That's how it works. That's how it works in politics. And it's incredible to me what people will do, what shame they will put themselves through, and the statements they will make that we know are abundantly untrue, simply to avoid public embarrassment. And
that's right, Candace.
I guess in that regard, I got to give Trump a little credit here, because the photo he shared of me To be clear with you guys, it is real. It is not AI. People were suspicious. Is this a real photo? I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. And you can imagine that was at least refreshing. After 4 days of his top advisor, Laura Loomer, sharing AI photos, illusory stories about drunken hit and runs, and fairy tales about secret trusts to hide money from the Macron, all in this like manic fit to try to land a hit on my rather boring life. You can imagine that there must have been some satisfaction when they stumbled upon something that is authentic, right? But you see, the only problem with people who are cartoonishly evil is that they also tend to be equally as dumb. So you can imagine how deflated they are going to feel to learn that the photo that they stumbled upon, my deepest, darkest secret, was actually at first shared by me, okay, on my Twitter account. This was not found by some journalist. So back in 2019, I shared that because I'm actually proud of that photo. And so I will briefly tell you the story as to how it came to be, because I was not that well known in 2019, and so you may have missed it. The story is from 2016, before I had any public profile whatsoever. I had moved into a brand new, newly built luxury apartment. And one night I received a knock on the door from the building maintenance claiming that there was a system-wide HVAC leak. Okay. They needed to then pull the carpet back in a spare bedroom, and it was completely soaked through in the closet. They ran a fan, and they advised us not to go in that room for a couple of days while the fan was running. Okay. It must have been a few days later that I woke up and my eyes were completely red.
Yeah, she is gnarly. She's like, I think there's no one like Candace Owens. She's so strong on her opinions, and she's getting a lot of heat. And I think she's actually so strong. People are thinking this woman is probably fake, or she's paid by something. What do you think, chat? What do you think? Is she getting paid? Is she one of those industry plants? Is she a shill?
And they were pussing, and it was itchy, and I was like, that's weird. I don't know what this is about, thinking that it was separate. Within weeks, I then broke out, and that is what you were seeing.
Jimmy Martin 9440 saying, we love you, Candace, here in California, San Francisco Bay Area. Shout out to Candace. You got love in the Bay Area. Head to toe in eczema, something that I had previously never had. Yeah, she's looking for the truth for sure. Had I'm talking giant patches of eczema all over my skin. My hair fell out in clump. Roy Vowles, I will give you the details about RestreamBot in a sec. And this is now over a couple of months, and I kid you not, I even got athlete's foot, which is insane. I had 2 asthma attacks that landed me in the hospital, and I had no idea what was happening. I had no idea what was happening. Were it not for somebody that was in my life who instantly recognized the... Thank you, M01888. I appreciate it, buddy. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We're going live every day of 2026. Become a member if you want. Just like... Who is that? Who is that legend? Captain Blackbird 7, who gifted 5 memberships to 5 amazing people. And, yeah. If you want, throw in a super chat. I love you. The Lord loves you. And people from the Bay Area love Candace Owens. We're developing the best community on the internet right here. Picture of all of the symptoms and told me that there had to have been a toxic mold presence, for which I needed to have the environment tested immediately. And I genuinely think that that person could have potentially saved my life. I would have never figured out what. Chris J 4236 saying she took 10 million from Russia. Is that accurate? Do you have any data to support that? Was going on, because everything seemed so separate and sporadic. And just so you know, Trump, I have way worse pictures than the one that you shared. And it was beyond just physical symptoms, beyond itching, the hair falling out. Mentally, I was a completely changed person instantly. I was exhausted. I was sleeping up to 16 hours a day. The only way that I can describe it to you all is I just suddenly was not myself anymore. And it was as though my brain could not think or process thoughts. Everything that I had to do, even things that I didn't have to do,
was overwhelming. It was a task. If somebody texted me, I would cry and I would become overwhelmed because I couldn't think of how to respond back. Like I was exhausted at the idea of having to answer somebody back in a text message. It just seemed like an impossible task. So it was sort of going in a couple of months if I felt like, oh, my looks and my brains, everything is just gone, right?
Yeah, right,
and I had not realized up until that moment how much of my personal confidence was actually tied to my looks. Like, oh, my certain things have been easier for me for being, and Trump, you could free to dispute this, but generally good looking by most people.
Yeah, definitely good looking and definitely a rare girl. And talking about good looking women and how important a personality is. I just had a beer with a girl and her two little doggies, and she's like, I guess what we would consider like a very, very gorgeous, woman. Visually, she had like the pumped up lips and all the Botox in her face, and probably the pumped up chest and all those types of things. But one thing I noticed about her is I was like, I kind of just want to sit. I just want to leave. I just want to sit down and leave. Like, or I just want to do something. Like I'm not entertained by this moment. It was like I was getting interrogated. I was like, which alphabet agency are you with? And, just asking unnecessary questions for whatever reason, not really enjoying the moment, kind of scoping me out to see like, hey, what can this guy do for me? And it was just so unentertaining. And then I had that feeling like if I tell her like, hey, you want to go on my yacht and, go see some rugs, and just add a little D in front of that. I don't have a yacht. I don't do the rugs and all that stuff. So I was like, then I could see her like getting all into those like sounds and this and that. And I'm just so happy I walked away from that situation because like I'm cool with her, but not in a romantic way, I guess you would say.
People standards, and I didn't appreciate that I tied that so much to who I was. I used to be able, truly, I would, at the time of my life, I would just pop on a red lip. I was doing the Taylor Swift thing for a little bit and run out of the door without putting on any makeup. I'm going to show you pictures leading up to this HVAC leak. This is a picture of me, a few pictures of me in August of 2016. There's another picture of me before this happened in August, another picture of me in August of 2016, rocking the red lip, no makeup here, just like doing some hiking with my cousins. Another picture of me, like I wasn't needing to wear makeup at all. And another picture of me just traveling, feeling confident in myself. And yeah, the picture that Trump shared was taken just 3 months later. I was sick. I was very, very sick and immediately humbled. I did not want to see anyone. I'm not going to.
Queduas. Yeah, it says mental break. Absolutely. Man. May Candace Owens have that mental strength. May the Lord help Candace Owens.
Pretend that I was this profound person. I did not want to see anyone. I did not go out. I also didn't have the energy to see anyone. I only let my cousin Mia see me. You've heard me mention her on the show. She took care of me day in and day out. And eventually a doctor told me, this is not, I can keep prescribing you pills, but the only way that you're actually going to be able to beat this, an infection like this, is you have to diet, an unbelievably restricting diet. You cannot have any sugar, not even sugar that is in fruit. It's a very strict candidiasis diet. And okay, I said, this is just what my life is going to have to be. I cried a lot. I mean, I am not a big crier, and I can tell you, you wouldn't have known it if you knew me during that time period. And also for the first time in what felt like a very long time, because prior to, I had been living in New York City, going out all the time, I started praying again. I felt like since the first time since, I was living with my grandparents maybe. In middle school, I hadn't made prayer a daily habit, but I did. And I remember vividly lighting this candle in my bedroom at night and getting on my knees and praying. And I will say, I know it's not acceptable, but I was bargaining with God. I remember specifically saying, I don't even care about the looks. I just want my mind back. I just want to be able to think again. I just want to be able to write again. I want to be able to have energy again. I want to be Candace. I want to be Candace on the inside. And when it came down to it, I that's all I wanted. Not to look like myself, but to be healthy again. And I came away from that experience realizing that health is everything. Your health is everything. Your looks mean nothing in the scheme of things. I was happy to accept that was how I was going to look for the rest of my life. Anyway, the story ends well, actually. I moved out of that apartment, did that strict diet, did eventually have to chop my hair, but I did it in a cute little bob. Here's a picture here. With a lot of time, I would say probably maybe like 6 months, my skin fully cleared up, which was not something that I was expecting. And what followed that was I think it was August, almost a year exactly. And in August of 2019, I started for the first time my political YouTube channel, having no idea how successful it would be. And when it became successful, I really enjoyed the hindsight of that story. And of course.
All right, y'all. It took me way too long to develop this, but this is basically, you son of a. The results of the poll. And properties. Nope. There we go. Yeah, so the actual question was that. Where is the actual question? I want to be accurate for y'all. Here it is. What drives political tension more today? And the winner is politicians and rhetoric by 42.9%, media coverage 41.4%, social media users 12.9%, and outside global factors 2.9%. Absolutely. Where is it? This one? Yep. Okay. Talk to us, Candace. Talk to us.
This is probably me. This is me inserting this, but I felt like God was giving me a little bit of a test before I had life in the limelight. Like I always think, what if I had instead prayed and said, "Oh, please, God, give me my good looks back. Take my mind, but give me my good looks back." Yeah, anyway, I for whatever it's worth, I entered the space of politics with a very real understanding of how fickle it all is. I felt completely that I was at God's mercy. I wanted to sort of keep my circle really small. As you guys know, my cousin Mia still works with me. She is the person who actually helped me upload my first video onto
Cranky Mullet, absolutely, says King Charles' speech was pure fire. It was wonderful. He spoke coherently, he was informed, and delivered well. Everything he said was spot on. That's right. Absolutely.
YouTube. She filmed me. If you can find that video on this channel. And as you know, she's still rolling with me today.
Quedwa says she loves herself very much. And Captain Blackbird says, should she hate herself? Very good question. It
was the one I took with me to see Erica because of vibes. And so I feel like I went into politics just with the right attitude and not impressed by a lot of the things that other people were impressed by. You know, I knew the importance of.
I didn't see this chat. I was working on that stupid poll. Eat my says, all right, I got to go do what lefts can't. Work a job later. Taters. Thank you for giving us all a good time, man. That's hilarious. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We're going live every day of 2026. If you want to support the channel, become a member. Like the legend Captain Blackbird 7 by becoming a member or throwing in a super chat. I love y'all.
Family. And again, how quickly everything could be stripped away from you. All I wanted was my health, and I was just so grateful to be able to think again. So to Trump, there you go.
That's awesome.
To you directly, I guess it's important for you to know that you have no power over me and my life. I chose to share that picture. That's why you have it. That's why you could have somebody put that on an AI cover. I made a decision to share that with the public because it was the lowest moment of my life. And
do you guys think she's going to go back with Trump? Like, is she going to forgive Trump for all that he's done? And do you guys think that they're actually friends? Is this all just for more Island Man? No. Quidwa says no.
I do not want people.
Captain Blackbird says, I wouldn't advise her to show pictures of others, but herself for safety and privacy reasons. There you go.
Digging through to find that and to try to embarrass me. I'm not embarrassed of it. I'm proud of who it made me into today. People get sick, okay? In fact, there are people who email us daily about their chronic illnesses and tell me how much this podcast helps them get through the day. People who are going through surgery, people who are going through cancer, and similarly are wearing bandanas and have no hair, who enjoy listening to this podcast. It gives them a laugh, and that's okay. Okay. Who cares what you look like? Okay, you have low moments, you get through them. And I will say that never, when I went through that, and to people who are sick and going through things, never could I have imagined that my lowest moment would one day become President Trump's lowest moment. I do feel like to Trump, he's just repeatedly humiliating himself over and over again. And he can continue to do that in front of the world. I will say real power never has to name itself. I am MAGA. I built MAGA. I am loved 100% by the people. Just look at these polls. It's like, come on, old boy. Who are you fooling? You know, you weren't even worth replying to until I could make time for it. You weren't even worth interrupting my holiday in Italy to address. Okay. And let's now address the words on the cover of the magazine, which to a lot of people sounded oddly racist, honestly. This particular portion accusing me of using rich white men. Candace Owens lies, and uses rich white men. Okay, I'll bump this to you, White House. Please, a reporter, ask him, which rich white man have I used in my life? I'd love to know that, because it's such an odd thing to say. All of my exes.
Is Trump referring to her husband, or what's going on?
Were poorer than me, with the exception of one. When my husband and I got married, thanks to strict immigration laws, we were entirely supported by my income because he was not allowed to work until they got a green card, and COVID dramatically slowed down the green card process. So during the first almost 2 years of our engagement through to our marriage, we had one income in our household. I had no debts when I met him. I had $1 million book deal when I met him.
Captain Blackbird 7 says, if Candace is a controlled opposition, she deserves an Oscar and a star on Hollywood Boulevard. Absolutely.
I think we moved 800,000 copies of my first book. So I had a lot going on for me. I think at least we could say it's more than Trump can say regarding his 3 wives. So my question to Trump would be, would you describe Melania as using rich white men? What about Laura Trump? Does that only apply, that expression apply, if the person...
Maybe Melania is actually in love with Trump. Maybe a man like that turns her on. You never know.
Getting married to a white person is black? Is it like literally because I'm black and I'm marrying someone, even if I have my own money? I think that's kind of what you were getting at. You meant to imply that George's family has generational wealth, as in his parents are richer than my parents. Yes, you are correct. Served. Oh my gosh, I got served. Is that supposed to be publicly humiliating to me? Yes, my mother did not even graduate high school. My father was a plumber for most of his life. We have no wealth. that I could speak of. I will not be inheriting anything from my family. Well done. Congratulations. There are many people out there that can relate. Who cares? This is the game of politics. You think that like this is what's going to bring me to my knees, that I don't come from a wealthy family? And I want people to know that the real driver of the entire random attack on me from the president, and the reason why it was tinged a little there with some race, was actually his top advisor, Laura Loomer. I am told specifically that she was ranting to people because this is when she was deep in the throes of her psychosis about how she wasn't invited to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which she was already upset about, and because she was out there throwing everything, which we'll get to later, making up rumors about me and my family, she demanded a tweet of support from Trump. In fact, that is what does explain the hint of racism behind the tweet. She is truly manic, and leading up to Trump's tweet, she had been particularly focusing on my race, and I will just let you hear the things that she was saying before Trump dropped the uses.
Futeric1 says, good morning. We do a lot of content about Candace on Copperhead Road podcast. Our biggest push is that to believe Candace, you would have to believe she is the only one who loved Charlie. There you go. Seems like she did love Charlie. Absolutely. It does. 100%. Shout out to your podcast, buddy. Thanks for being here. Make sure you all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026. Support the channel if you like. Become a member or throw in a super chat. And we have an opposing view from TJL saying Candace is full of S. Hit. And
is rich white men section. Take a listen.
I just remember her always talking about how she wanted to be like a suburban wife. Like she wanted to drive like a black Escalade. She used to talk about how Club Monaco was her favorite store, and she always just wanted to have like a white husband. And
how wild is that? Is that Candace is reacting to her just roasting her? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Be like, you know, married to like a established white man. And she used to tell me like, oh, I don't date black men.
There you go. A roller skater Texas girl says heartless, cruel, void of all feelings. My goodness.
And she's like, in fact, when I was in high school, I was known as the girl that would like go to the club and basically steal your man. Like that's how she literally used to talk. And she would say, there was something just like really satisfying to me about being a black girl from the hood, being able to like walk into a ritzy bar in Greenwich and leave with the hottest white guy there. And
is she actually talking about Candace Owens still right now? Just with how I know Candace Owens, it seems like, no, she wouldn't do that. But you never know. When she was younger, she could have been wild, just ruining relationships.
Basically, like, ruin the relationship of, like, the popular white girl. This is how she used to speak. And for some reason, there's a lot of people that are really afraid of this nappy.
Aquarius Sky is saying Loomer is telling lies. Michael Woodall says Loomer crazy as a bag of a Choles.
Headed black bitch who just has a lot to say but not really a lot to offer. So I'm not afraid of Candace Owens. Candace Owens is just one resentful ghetto black bitch. Like that's literally what she is. She's a racist too. Like you could
make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We are going live every day of 2026.
Listen to this, and I'm not a racist person, right? Like I don't hate black people, but I say she's a ghetto black bitch because you have to listen to the way that she has so much resentment for white girls, like white girls with blonde hair and blue eyes. And you know, I'm originally a blonde too. I have blonde hair and blue eyes, right? Maybe that's why Candace has so much resentment towards me. But listen to the way that she describes how traumatizing it was for her.
She's like, she's holding herself so much. Did you see that?
I'm originally a blonde too. I have blonde hair and blue eyes, right? Maybe that's why Candace has so much resentment towards me. But listen to the way that she describes how traumatizing it was for her to go on a play date as a young black girl.
Oh my gosh, Candace Owens, her face is just saying so much.
Girl in Connecticut at the home of a wealthy white blonde girl with blue eyes. And she really sees Erica Kirk as that white blonde girl that got everything that she wanted while her mommy and daddy didn't love her. Mommy and daddy didn't love me, and I was jealous of the white blonde girl growing up who had mommy and daddy, so now I'm going to dedicate my life to destroying every pretty white blonde girl that has a happy family, because I don't have a happy family.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there. Not really worth unpacking. It's just too insane. I do genuinely believe that she is on the brink of needing to be committed again. But the point in all of these lies, met someone, who goes to the club in who's going to the club in high school? I've never in my life actually been out in Greenwich, Connecticut. Nobody had that kind of money, obviously, as you just mentioned, following that. But
W's in the chat. W's in the chat. You guys are saying Loomer is lying. We got Echo Rex saying Loomer is a trashy little girl. James Watson says the white girl got Cambrulo eyelashes on. What are Cambrulo eyelashes? Yeah, got them into the ring. There you go. Aquarius guy says Candace is not ghetto. So that woman is just like direct lying about Candace Owens. Not cool. Problem with that is like she probably gets a lot of views, but she loses so much credibility by doing that. You know, people can't really go to her and look at her as an authority in whatever they're talking about. Either she's learning about Candace Owens, which is always cool. Like, I encourage learning. I don't know a lot of things, and I learn from the chat all the time, but I'm honest about it. And when she's saying these direct things, it just ruins her credibility, which is not good at all. We got Roller Skater Girl saying Candace is a super narcissistic person. I wouldn't doubt that. Maybe. You never know. You never know. John Anthony says it's not true. She is everything Candace is not, and it's a good thing. I see what you did there, John Anthony. Well said, buddy. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We're going live every day of 2026, developing the best community online.
This entire thing, you have to recognize what to pull away from this, is that she was going on an unhinged racist rant, and then she was able to make a demand that the President of the United States issue a Truth Social supporting Hermania. And it was a demand, I want to be clear, that I am told specifically that Susie Wiles was staunchly opposed to. Credit to Susie Wiles. That she came up against that and said this is a very bad idea, and yet Trump's team overall conceded. The question is why? That's a very important question. Why did Donald Trump concede to a lunatic? There has been, of course, a very long-standing rumor that it's because she has blackmail on him, a rumor that I'm reticent to believe, right, because it's Laura Loomer, but it has something to do with her having relations, that she went onto Air Force One years ago, as we all knew, and then began telling people that she had relations with Donald Trump. Again, it's Laura Loomer, so don't just take it with a grain of salt, take it with a grain of crack cocaine, okay?
Oh my God,
but
bro.
The point is, we are now able to demonstrate that she's able to...
Can't believe she just said that. Jerry Springer goes to Washington. I can't even repeat what she said, man. That is so wild. Yeah, John Anthony. John Anthony says Candace is a solid person. Absolutely. That's what I gathered as well. I had to do the mathematics there, bro. Like, if I didn't, I would have gotten it incorrect. And I was like, oh, well said, man. We got a poet in the chat. John Anthony. Well done. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026.
to force the administration's hand, okay?
I'm not catching that.
So do I believe what she is going to allege, whatever they're afraid of? Probably not, if I'm being honest. But is she now threatening them into compliance, or she will make his life a living hell, as she says? I won't stop. I'll post your grandkids, your mother, your father. I won't stop until I get what I want. Probably. They probably just don't want to deal with Laura Loomer. Either way, that is a type of black.
So can Candace and Trump repair this? Maybe someday, but right now this doesn't look like a disagreement. It looks like a divorce inside them. Mega media. And once Trump publicly brands someone disloyal, the road back is very narrow. The road back is very narrow. What do you think, Chad? Will Trump and Candace ever make peace?
Blackmail, in my view. That's a type of emotional blackmail. Okay? And that very real notion that our president, who it seems randomly attacks people on her behalf.
Knife Kitty says, oh boy, spreading rumors, Candace, you should rise above. What's she spreading rumors about?
So when you're wondering, why did he send out this crazy tweet about Tucker Carlson?
Waffle Jackson, whoever said Jerry almost extinguished me.
Megyn Kelly. If you go onto Laura Loomer's feed, you will see that it's her focus of the week. It's whoever Laura Loomer happens to be attacking. That should be noted. Because there is no way in hell that Donald Trump, who has never, by the way, pushed send on his own tweets, that was the job initially of Dan Scavino during his first term. And now it's been widely reported that on Truth Social, that's the job of Natalie Harp. Trump is not using AI to doctor that. He did not hit send on that. And the question that journalists should be asking is who did it and why? And we are going to leave that open-ended as of now. I did want to reply fully and let them know that I am not in any way embarrassed by that, and I will not.
We got Leo Kostenko saying she's part of Trump's plan. She's doing what she's supposed to do. There you go. There you go. Chris J jumping in on the chat saying Loomer does have a lot of influence for being a totally unqualified whack job. Totally unqualified.
Not be playing DC blackmail games. We'll be right back after a quick break.
Go on and do your break, girl.
Just a smaller quantity. So head over to twc. Also, want to tell you guys about blockchain. In a well, someone in the chat just asked this, and it reminded me of this exact same conversation I had with my husband. It's one of these words that doesn't make it over the pond. Someone said, what's nappy? I'm from the UK. So in the UK, nappy is a pamper, a baby's pamper. So when they say, like, I need a nappy, they're referring to a baby's pamper or diapers, as we say. But in America, for the UK people, a nappy is an expression that's used to describe, like, a coarse hair. So she's just describing African hair. So when you call somebody nappy-headed, you're calling them African-headed, essentially. So it's not so offensive in the UK. Or maybe it is. Nobody wants to be a diaper head, but that's the translation for you. Also, on the point about me hating blondes and blue eyes, my team is shocked. Ashley, the producer, blonde hair, blue eyes. Savannah, blonde hair. Bella, blonde hair, blue eyes. Who scrolls on our prompter? So this is definitely news that I hate people with blonde hair and blue eyes. Anyway, speaking of Erica, obviously, because she name-checked me today, let's just back this up. Everything went down while I was in Italy, right? I came back. Suddenly there were all these reporters who were in ball gowns at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, sharing clips down at the ground, taking selfie videos, sharing their survivor stories. They're now apparently thug life. I think Brian Stelter is about to get that tattooed across his abdomen. He's survived. He's a survivor. What did they survive? Vietnam, the streets of Compton. Actually, it turns out that it's more like the streets of incompetence. Because what actually happened? Well, a man stormed a security check at the White House Correspondents' Center, and then Secret Service agents, and only Secret Service agents, began firing their weapons. That is the latest. And as soon as I saw the video, I was like, I think nobody can fire a gun that quick. I think it's actually friendly fire. Here's the latest headline in the Washington Post. It reads, video shows moment Secret Service officers fired at Correspondents' Dinner suspect. And then it says surveillance footage reviewed by the Post provides the clearest picture yet of the seconds after the alleged gunman bolted through a checkpoint inside the hotel. In addition to this, Evan Hill, who is an investigative reporter for the Washington Post, wrote on his X that a Secret Service officer fired 4 times at Cole Allen and in the direction of other security personnel as he charged a security checkpoint. A post review of surveillance footage has found that there was no indication on the footage that Allen fired his weapon. So to be clear, after all of that, it's hard to say a shooting happened, right? Nothing happened in that regard, or I guess the implication that this was a shooting that came from this outsider. And the majority of the people that were inside could not even hear or distinguish the sound of what was going on. They connected the dots, of course, on the basis of the Secret Service then rushing the president out, which it would be scary. Obviously, you'd be like, what the heck's going on? Which I think a lot of them thought, like, why are they moving him? Actually, I got to give a rare kudos to Andrew Colvett. Now, in a couple of minutes, I will be dissing him. But a rare kudos to Andrew Colvett, who, when he recounted the story, was actually honest. He said he heard a sound. He honestly did not know what it was. It could have been plates crashing. If anybody, by the way, has been in the presence of a shooting, I have, because I lived in D.C. and I lived in New York, and you hear guns go off, sadly. Unless you see it, you're not sure. It's like a pop. It's a pop sound. And yes, it could be, as he is describing, plates crashing. What is that? Okay.
I don't know if I can believe that. Like, I heard gunshots many times, and gun range, and then in public and those types of things, and you definitely can hear it. You definitely can hear it, and especially if it's indoors, it seems like it resonates and almost amplifies it. But if there's a bunch of doors and it's soundproof, then it could be different. So you never know.
Now, despite this actually being a story, we were immediately inundated with social media posts. And for some reason, the star of the would-be saga was none other than Ms. Erica Kirk. Somehow, at the exact right moment, and amidst all of the chaos and the subsequent lockdown, someone had captured the exact moment that Erica Kirk was walking out and captured the audio of her saying this.
I just want to go find you.
Okay.
She's so unhappy.
So the clip was first shared by Sarah Seidner. She is of CNN. She's a CNN reporter. But I noted pretty early on, I thought that was pretty precise for her to have recorded that. Also, she's on air talent, so it would be unusual for her to just be like trying to get things behind the camera. Anyways, she stopped short, I've looked everywhere, of ever saying that she herself recorded it, which I found to be interesting. That's interesting to me. And so I reached out to her on Instagram ahead of the show. I reached out yesterday and I think the day before on Instagram, on Twitter, and via text, asking her to simply confirm that she in fact shot the video and that it was not given to her by somebody else. I got no response. I would like to confirm that she actually shot that footage. Actually, there.
Candace Owens here. I messaged you on Twitter as well. I'm just looking to confirm that you in fact recorded the video of Erica Kirk leaving the WHCD. We noted that you were first to share the footage of her, but did not assert whether you had recorded the footage yourself. Maybe she doesn't understand what assert means.
There are other people that are in the corridor who have cell phones. I'll put a bounty on it. I will offer $10,000 to somebody who has the opposite.
I think Erica Kirk said something along the lines of, I don't feel safe. I just want to go home. I don't want to be here. After the alleged S-Hots.
It's side footage. And I will, obviously will not run your name. I will protect you. If you have that opposite side footage of the person who caught that footage, $10K is yours. No
10K.
Questions asked. Okay.
Yeah. Quedwa says, she said, I just want to go home.
More tips at CandaceOwens.com. Anyway, I bring this up because what would have just.
By the way, we're going live every single day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member if you want, throw in a super chat if you want. And if you want to support the channel, we love you. And we're developing the best community on YouTube here.
And Erica's reaction somehow became the focal point of the entire event, right? And we were getting lectured. I don't know how it happens that Erica goes out and we get lectured, but it happened again by golly. And Baron Coleman happened to notice that as well. And here's what Baron Coleman had to say.
And maybe innocently, Erica just happened to make an excited utterance. I just want to go home. And she just happened to say that right as she crossed the only camera that captured her leaving. I could accept that. I could accept that.
Set up or not?
I could accept it if it hadn't gone viral. I could.
G.I. Joe Rose says, then go home, Erica.
Accept it if we didn't get hit with a relentless onslaught of simps lining up to promote her in this moment and kick off operation number 2 of the night. Operation 1 was Operation Ballroom. Operation 2 is Operation Erica Kirk.
Correct.
The president sort of faded into the background last night. The vice president sort of faded into the background. The only people who really...
Waffle Jackson, dropping some knowledge in the chat, says, I hate how relentlessly vicious Candace has been toward Erica. Candace lost a friend, but Erica lost the father of her children. Yeah, definitely heavy.
Rose to the top. One is a building that hasn't even been built yet, a ballroom. And the other is a woman most of us had never heard of 7 months ago, 8 months ago. Erica Kirk. Operation Erica Kirk. So I might have been able to buy that.
These are the facts, okay? Baron Coleman is telling the truth. That's why people are going to hate him. They hate the internet because we clock this stuff so instantly. It was just weird. The ballroom, Erica Kirk. Oh, and then suddenly, again, I'm being tweeted at. Next thing you know, we are all being lectured by neocons across the internet. We're being called sheer evil, psychopathic, because Erica Kirk opted into another social calendar event, okay? An event that did not in any way require her presence, one which not even Charlie Kirk had ever attended, or President Trump, for that matter. As the president, he never attended any of these correspondence dinners, and yet it's somehow our fault again. We were not invited, and it's always our fault, right? I'm just getting flashbacks to UGA. Erica misses her appointment. We weren't going. We didn't speak about UGA. We didn't say don't go. Suddenly, we got the vice president lecturing us about not keeping Erica safe, right? Neocons, same thing, hitting hard with the repeat lecture about a grieving widow who apparently we're all now somehow responsible of. They just turned her into one of our kids out of nowhere, right? It's all our fault, because if you noticed anything about Erica Kirk, this is the reason why she went to the social calendar event, okay? I just want to be very clear at what we are looking at, and forgive me because I know that Hillary Clinton, many of my listeners maybe voted for Hillary Clinton, you liked Hillary Clinton, that is fine. I did not, and I'll explain to you why, because you might be able to connect the dot here. This is why a lot of people who voted for Trump, some of them actually were just voting against Hillary Clinton in 2016. It was because of the nature of the campaign. It was whiny. It was that is what we resented truly about the campaign. You can't criticize Hillary Clinton because she's a woman. Oh my gosh, this person said this because he's a sexist. Oh my gosh, the reason why Hillary Clinton is struggling, or if you think she fainted, whatever, is because she's a woman. She's hyper qualified. Her husband's Bill Clinton. I will say Hillary Clinton is actually accomplished in her own right. But that was the whole attitude. It was like, we're not actually trying to get your vote. We don't need your support. We're too rich and too big to fail. She's too connected to fail. So we're just going to keep chastising you, and we're just going to keep lecturing you. And then we expect you to vote for her. That's the Erica Kirk campaign. It's worse. I actually, if I could pick, like if we have to go through another cycle of a grift, whether it's a feminist grift, like the Hillary Clinton one, which felt like it's because she's a woman, the race grift, where like people couldn't express their opinions for a while post BLM, George Floyd, or the widow grift, where they're doing the same thing. They're shutting down reasonable questions, people that are bringing up things in Hillary's past, whatever it is. The widow grift is the worst. I have to say, of all of them, the widow grift is the one that I actually find to be the most despicable, because we all know that you're doing it and you just keep doing it.
Cook Yahoo says Erica Kirk is a grifter.
It's nobody's fault that Erica went to that event other than Erica, okay? We did nothing. We didn't hit someone up. We didn't say, hey, could you storm the barrier? Hey, Secret Service.
Just so y'all know, a grifter is a person who swindles, cheats, or defrauds others for money through deception, charm, or manipulation. Unlike thieves who take by force, grifters use lies and psychological persuasion to gain trust, steal assets, often employing get-rich-quick schemes or fake investment opportunities.
Service, do me a favor. Could you fire shots at each other so that Erica gets into a state of trauma? It's just, we're really getting tired of this. It's so disingenuous, and we can see what you're doing. And it's not moving the needle any. I get it. She's too big to fail. You got too much money. You got too many connections, okay? It's just that she's failing. So anyway, on the heels of the White House correspondent dinner, she tweeted that she would be addressing her latest traumatization. And she did that today. She said, I need to spend time with my family. We should have pulled the tweet. She went literally in one sentence. She said, I after today's traumatizing shooting, I need to spend time with my family. And then I will be on the Charlie Kirk show on Wednesday. So I think she just needed 48 hours. And what we got today was objectively weird. It was weird for a couple of reasons. First is that it was 9 minutes, and then they just played Charlie Kirk clips for the remaining almost 2 hours. The second thing is that it was pre-recorded, okay? It was straight from the teleprompter, and it was very clearly not written by her. But we can kind of go over the points that she delivered. And yes, there's been immediate backlash. And yes, I am already being blamed for the immediate backlash.
There you go. And there's actually this thing that happened with, let's see, Erica Kirk and the
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family.
Veronica. Yeah. Oh, they're popping up the whole time this time.
Thank you for your.
All right. Anyways, yeah, Erica Kirk. She backs out of this Turning Point event with JD Vance, allegedly because there's some serious threats going on over there, right? But the real reason is the ticket sales were so low. Allegedly. But yeah. There's our dear Erica Kirk.
Because it's always somebody else's fault when it comes to Erica Kirk, okay?
Thank you for
so
your
the
support.
first thing that's weird is the reason that she gives for people asking that question, why did you go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner? You literally just said you couldn't do your UGA commitment because there were credible threats and you couldn't trust the Secret Service to absolve them. Then you did an event with Trump, which relied upon the Secret Service, and then now you're doing another event, and it's like a press event, right? That actually Charlie hated. He always made fun of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So why do you feel obliged to show up here? And here is the answer that she provided. Take a listen.
And everyone is asking why I even went to the White House.
Oh, I never saw her in all black. All right. There you go. Yeah, and that girl in all white, this girl, that's Veronica, and she pops up anytime people become like members or tap in a super chat. But sometimes whenever I switch scenes, it like does all these types of things. So yeah, but that's Veronica. And if you become a member or add a super chat, you'll see the whole video where she does a push-up just for you. Erica Kirk, I'm not gonna lie, if I didn't know her personality, right now looks kind of nice.
Correspondents' Dinner. And it was because many of the journalists in that room have attempted to dehumanize me. And I wanted to meet some of them face to face, quite frankly. Why have a conversation about me when you can have a conversation with me? So, for example, a journalist from the Daily Mail came up to me.
Her microphone is peaking hard.
Introduced herself. And she was very gracious. She was saying, "You look so beautiful. I'm so sorry for your loss." To which I replied, "It is so nice to put a name to the face, especially with all of the slander, the lies, accusations that are out there surrounding my husband's murder and myself." And I said to her, "You know what's so interesting? This is my first time at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And I find it so fascinating, the dynamic that is going on right now, because everyone is all dressed up and you guys are co-mingling in and out of each other's cocktail parties. And so for one night, you are able to put aside all of your differences for the sake of freedom of speech. And then by Monday morning, things will go back to being an absolute bloodbath between all of you." To which she replied, literally, she said, "I know. Isn't it special, right? Isn't tonight so special?"
Any buyers?
Kindness to all says, rumor is Erica loves to eat candy. Oh, buddy. Imagine that. Imagine that. Don't want to get that diabetes. Eating too much of that sugar. Is that video real? The Eric Kirk video about that whole thing? I don't know. Allegedly it is, but that's wild. And did they? Do you have any proof?
Any takers of that? That she went just for the social experiment of it all? And by the way, I know we're not allowed to remember anything she says yesterday, but I'm pretty sure that when she...
This whole action, drama against each other, it's starting to make sense if that's what happened. They should... Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh. Yo, Kachikoshi, how you doing?
She sat down with Caroline Levitt on stage.
I want to go home. It gives a different meaning, right? Oh, man. Oh, Gregory Stevens, you're right. Diabetes is not funny. But it's not the diabetes you're thinking about, bro. It's something else. But if you do have diabetes, exercise, and having a balanced diet is beneficial, and I hope you can overcome it, and I hope everyone can overcome it.
At Turning Point event, she says that she doesn't she didn't read the headline, she doesn't care, she's completely
I have no idea who supports TPUSA right now. Honestly, I don't.
removed. We've been told over and over again that she's just not aware of what's going on. Now she's saying, I actually went to this event because I needed to confront these journalists who day in and day out, I actually know their names, which is more than I can say. I actually don't know the names of all journalists who write articles about me. I don't care to learn about their lives. I actually virtually never give them statements. My PR isn't open. You can just go out there and say, she doesn't care, because I just got tired of answering for things. But that's what we're getting. Now we're getting that she went there and she got dolled up, and it was because she simply just wanted to, and she even went to a pre-party, I believe, right? That was posted as well. But that was just because she wanted, it was a social experiment. Okay. And next she is going to say something that is ironic. Okay. She's going to call out those journalists because she's that's why she went to just I don't like you journalists. She's going to call them out for their reactions to the shooting. Okay. Take a listen.
If you were in that room, you had no way of knowing what the status of the shooter was, how many there were, or honestly, really anything. It was just utter chaos. And so during an active shooting, these journalists are using their phones to find moments to capture for clips. They were so concerned about getting a video in a room with an active shooter that they could have accidentally and quite literally filmed themselves being shot. Many of those people have become so desensitized that fight or flight became secondary to the opportunity of putting themselves into the story, which ironically breaks the...
And Gregory Stevens, I hope you have a fast recovery, and I hope you get to keep all of your limbs, buddy. But I was laughing at the candy part, not necessarily the diabetes part. Diabetes is not funny, man. Not a funny thing.
Number one rule of journalism.
Anybody in the chat want to tell her what's ironic about that statement? Anybody remember Terrell Farnsworth? And when we said that was weird, they said it wasn't weird, and now Erica is basically going, who would...
Is Shia LaBeouf in the chat? How you doing, Cathos Prime?
Record themselves in an active shooting. This is Terrell Farnsworth, doesn't know how many shooters there are, doesn't know what's going on. Seconds, this is not even a minute after Charlie hits the ground and he's behind him, and he records...
Kindness to all says, you know what, both Caroline, Erica, and Candy need to understand they are far more important to themselves than they are relevant in our lives. What do you mean by that? And which Caroline are you talking about?
Recorded himself. Take a listen.
They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie.
Man, whenever I was at a skate park one time, and there was like a stupid argument between some kids that were, much too young to argue with weapons or whatever, and then someone let go of a few pieces of hot metal, and allegedly some people got hit or whatever. But I was skateboarding, and when I heard that, like we were in bowls, like there's like a pool and you like skateboard around or whatever. I ducked underneath the concrete. I was like, I want nothing to do with this. I'm unarmed. I'm not a hero, bro. I don't even know who these people are. They're like 100 yards away from me. And the last thing I want to do is poke my head up to see what's going on with like the people throwing hot heat. And I was like, I don't want to catch any hot metal on my head, so I'm not going to look, right? That's obviously kind of like what you want to do. And so for this guy to be
take a listen.
To be here doing selfie, it's just weird. Like when I was in a situation like that, I don't understand that. Yeah, Hannibal says strays hurt, bro. I don't want to catch any strays, dude. No, dude. I don't want. No, not at all.
They just shot Charlie.
But is this a little weird for y'all? Like, I don't know. Maybe he's just an ultimate cinematographer, videographer, documentary guy, But like, when you hear gunshots, dude, you don't want to be around those things.
They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie.
We got Captain Black saying, no, you are right. Hey, Fuzzy T910. There you go, bro. Do it. Kindness to all. Am I serious about what? Oh, we got some advice from Quid Watts. Use a rocking chair. Never stop rocking. Leg pumping. Yeah, get that blood flowing there, bro. That's a good idea.
They just shot Charlie. He's dead. God help him.
Oh, he said he's extinguished there. Okay. Oh, kindness to all. Now I see your message. You're talking about Carolyn. Leave it. Narcissistic people bring drama and hate. They create drama and hate. Not stop it. Don't listen to any of them. For 1 week, you'll realize you are better off for it. That's true, man. You got to surround yourself with good people. Absolutely. It makes the world of a difference. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026. Captain says, heavy. I was at home playing Assassin's Creed when this happened. Yeah, just imagine.
I'm just pointing out irony. That's all. I know I'm going to get crushed for that. How dare you remember? I go kind of spending a lot of time on this case, and it's part of the bizarre reactions that the public.
Oh, Eric Klein jumping in on the chat saying someone caught someone else. See heating on their marriage with who. Are you talking about Erica with somebody else?
Doesn't feel good about. So I just think it's weird to call out journalists for the exact same actions that your team took. That still works for you. Taking down cameras. All that's a bit weird. But if they started taking down cameras, you might think it was a little weird. Anyway, another part, which this is random push coming from the White House and and you're going to hear this from Erica and from the First Lady as well, where I'm just starting to feel like they're coming after the First Amendment, right? And bizarrely, they're going after Jimmy Kimmel, which I'm, again, angry at. This is the second time that they're going to make me defend Jimmy Kimmel. They are trying to assert, and again, on the heels of Trump sharing that about me, on the heels of his advisors sharing this information about me, all right, going after my family, that it's actually Jimmy Kimmel's joke that is to blame for the White House Correspondents' incident, okay? And Erica Kirk is going to underscore that as well. Take a listen.
If you can just pause and just take.
We're going to pause, girl. We're going to pause. Kindness to all says, watch. All indicators are pointing to this as the petrodollar regionalization. Eric Klein says, have we ever heard from Tyler or his attorney? I don't know. I don't think so yet. Doomers. Hold still. Yeah. She's going to catch a ball. She's going to catch a football in her hands. She's got that little, she's ready to catch something. She's going to catch an idea and share it with you. That's nice. She has Charlie in the background. And I think she's wearing all black because she is mourning. But she wasn't. Was she wearing black? She was wearing white when she was crying, right? That's with Charlie. Yeah, she was wearing white there. That's weird. Never mind. I don't know why she's wearing black then.
Take a minute.
Usually when people are mourning, they wear black because they're mourning.
And ask yourself, how would you feel?
She was shellacking. Oh, Garmick has joined the chat.
If even just one person made cruel jokes about the
Shapiro, allegedly.
attempted murder of your loved one. That is what Jimmy Kimmel did to the First Lady. He said that she had the glow of an expected widow. The glow of an expected
Just
widow.
like so disingenuous.
48 hours
The eyes. She brought the eyes out.
before that nightmare almost became a reality.
It was a joke. I
expected
just,
widow.
like,
Those are the eyes.
so disingenuous.
48 hours before that nightmare almost became a reality.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was a joke. I can't do the Hillary Clinton campaign. I can't do it. I can't do. That's how it felt. Trump would make a joke about something and then they'd all get out and pretend it was super serious. And it's ironic because like Jimmy Kimmel was a part of that syndicate of people that did this. And I said no, and I couldn't stand Jimmy Kimmel. And I still really don't like Jimmy.
Oh, pump that jam. Pump it up. Da, 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 da. Yeah. She does look like a hip hop dancer. There you go. Yeah, the eyes, Chico. The eyes of a... Yeah. They don't lie. They never lie. Get back, Satan. Why is she dressed like a Temu? T-E-double... Yeah, man. Oh, my gosh.
Jimmy Kimmel, but they're flipping it now on its head and they're Jimmy Kimmeling it. Okay, they're doing the thing where they pretend that a joke is existential. A clear and obvious joke is as existential and now the source of shootings. That's that. This happened because Jimmy Kimmel made a joke. She may have liked the joke. I don't love everything that's said about me. Oh well. But the big news, of course, is that as she got toward the end of this pre-written monologue, not written by her, is that she name dropped Drewski and she name dropped me. And that was supposed to be, I think, as they planned it. And this is why she's got to stop working with Blake Neff. It's giving Blakey Neff wrote it. I know he's her writer for things. This was supposed to be a moment of bravery or something, and it's going to backfire. Take a listen.
Leo Costanco says, her wearing the black hat, it tells you she's with the black cats, not the white hats. White hats are with Trump. Black hats are with E.V. Ill. My goodness. All right, Captain Black. See you soon, brother. See you soon. Thank you so much for all your support. You are the man, dude. Legend. We got to bring Veronica out for Captain Black. This is for Captain Black, y'all. He just getting W's.
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best.
Every morning I wake up.
All right, Jason Beatrice is like, no, I can't do it. Candace, too much. I can't do it.
To a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Waffle Jackson throwing out some W's for Captain Blackbird, number 7. The man.
And the list goes on and on and on.
Man, it's just not, the performance of all of this is not good.
Well,
and before we get to
fits.
her claim, which people immediately checked her on, and it was not trending in a good way. It's not trending for her in a good way, the reaction to this, whatever this was supposed to be. Just an obvious lie. She wakes up to headlines and Candace Owens saying that she killed her husband. Now, I'll show you how they're trying to clean it up. It's similar to UGA. It's going to be narcissistic abuse, where they blame it. They find try a way to wiggle out of Erica lying, as opposed to saying, oh, she misspoke. They're going to try to assert that, no, Candace did say this. But overall, before we even get to that, the response has just been brutal, okay? Everyone is calling her out. They're saying that the look is wrong. People are making fun of saying that she looks like she came dressed up as the assassin that was walking.
Did she just take it down? I didn't see it there. Oh my gosh. She took down the picture of CK?
Up the stairs, allegedly, but also just her general demeanor. Okay, here are just some of the reactions. We can go through them. I guess I missed it. When did Candace Owens mention anywhere in the podcast that you murdered your husband? You didn't miss it. I trust gas station sushi more than I trust Erica Kirk. This user writes, I was hoping you were going to address all the questions being asked of you. This lecture was pointless. We're just getting lectured every day. We're so tired of being lectured.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Erica would do that. I don't know for sure, but not too surprised. And also, maybe she's just in pain, like seeing that image, or maybe, I don't know, man, trying to move on, or you never know, man. It's tough. It's not easy losing anyone, but who knows what she's thinking? We really don't know what she's thinking.
This person writes, Candace Owens never once made the explicit claim that you murdered your husband. All she has accused you of is being a liar and a fraud. By the way, when that is my repeat accusation, which I've proven that you lie, it's best not to lie in the monologue that you're going to come after me, right? Like that, come on, lights on, guys. This person says, so she's not resigning. She's ruining Turning Point USA. She should just go home and stay at her mom and stay as a mom to those poor kids that have no parents at this point. Here is another tweet. This person wrote, if Erica truly is just a grieving widow and not actually a bad person, which is now becoming harder and harder to believe, then somebody around her who cares needs to tell her the following. 1, her disposition is totally unlikable. 2, her delivery is completely untrustworthy. And 3, every time.
Smokey J's house says Candace claims she had something to do with planning it. There you go. There you go. By the way, we're going live every day at 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. If you like the channel, support the channel by becoming a member or adding a super chat.
Time she opens her mouth, she digs herself a bigger hole. I would rather not tell a widow how to grieve, but I would advise a wannabe astroturfed CEO to go home and spend some more time with her kids that she claims to love so much. Here's another couple of funny tweets. Did Erica tell her stylist to, quote, give me the assassin outfit today? Another one,
God,
Erica Kirk.
Oh my God, that one's too heavy, dude. What was that last one, dude? Oh my God.
kids that she claims to love so much. Here's another couple.
Give me the... That's so mean, dude. That is so mean. Oh, man. Roasted, bro. Didn't know this was a Sunday backyard barbecue. Somebody just got roasted.
Full of funny tweets. Did Erica tell her stylist to, quote, give me the assassin outfit today? Another one.
Erica trying to prove to us that she... Oh, my God, dude. Oh, my God. That girl is hot. Who is that chick? She kind of looks like my ex.
Erica Kirk trying to prove to us that she did not try to kill her husband. These are obvious jokes.
Oh, dude, M. Erica Kirk out here dressing like Eminem when he got sober. Oh, and they have like that frame where she has like the sad face too. All my exes live in Texas.
Guys, I know they're now criminalizing jokes, but these are jokes, okay? Erica Kirk out here dressing like Eminem when he got sober.
This is a pretty bad one, dude. I love it.
I did not see that one before. That's very funny.
Why is Kirk wearing something that looks eerily similar to an Imperial officer's uniform from Star Wars?
Hey, this person, why is Erica Kirk wearing something that looks eerily similar to an Imperial officer's uniform?
Sonya Blade, was that her name?
From Star Wars. It fits the theme music of when they walk out. So yeah, across
You're
the
right,
board.
bro. You're right, 100%. That was Sonya Blade. I don't know why it's a video game one now, but and the other one, oh, that's a Mortal Kombat girl. Okay. Yeah, this is the one I'm thinking about. But actually, in this picture, she doesn't look that good. But this one on the top left. Yeah, you can see her.
People are laughing, they're mocking it, they're saying it was, you're lying. And also, it's just weird. It was weird and it was awkward. And speaking of the lying, which, like I said, many people called out right away, as that person said, I've never made that statement on this podcast. Of course, they instantly then started realizing that they needed to defend it. And of course, they came out with two different excuses, okay? Blake Neff came out and said, well, Candace didn't say it, but she implied it. She implied it in the episode where I said that the police should drag Erica in for questioning, that Charlie would have already been dragged. He probably would have been arrested until further notice and asked questions if we had found this many holes in his story. Like, of course, they should have her phone. They should be asking her questions about various lies, because that's just how it works. So that was Blake Neff's excuse. Now, Andrew Colvette's excuse is even more bizarre. Andrew Colvette is going to present an out-of-context text message, which looks like it got passed around at Turning Point USA. I got to give Andrew Colvette, like, they're never on board with, they're all like running in different directions, but he is the king of the narcissistic abuse of the public, right? He instantly comes out and starts chastising us, and he can never just be like, you know what? I would have instantly said she fumbled over her words. She meant to say that she feels Candace implied it. But of course, that would have been a hard sell because it's very clearly scripted. And look, you have all over the internet, people are calling her out for lying. Why would she utter that statement? Why would she say that I accused her of murdering her husband? And as it was going viral, too many people obviously watched the show. So they just clocked it immediately. So Andrew did his thing. Right, to prove this was real, he presented a screenshot of a text message joke, a joke definitively sent by me. And I will say right now, Andrew Colvette, you have my full permission to release the entire conversation, because how dare you remove this joke from its context, okay? And it's a message that had never been revealed to the public. I stand by it. I'm assuming employees passed this around. It now kind of explains why so many people got fired. I think I'm grasping some understanding of that. And he presented it as an authentic exchange. Despite the cry emojis, I was being asked, what questions I planned to ask Erica when we met up at the end of December. So you recall at this time, this was during the week where Erica was going viral for her interview with Barry Weiss for a number of very funny reasons. And they were pushing real hard in the press to assert that asking Erica any questions was despicable, off record, and it equated to accusing her of murdering her own husband. Okay, so I sent this as a joke, an obvious joke, which they know is a joke, because when I met up with Erica, I never asked this question, and I was being funny, and I still think it's funny, actually. I said this in response. I said, and that's on, this is the tweet. The person is asking, what are you going to ask her? At the bottom here, you can see I said, I'm asking everything. First question, why did you murder your husband? Cry emoji. And again, the context of this was us making fun of Barry Weiss and Ben Shapiro and the syndicate of people that had come out and said that asking any questions about Erica Kirk at all was akin to just saying exactly that you murdered your own husband. This was never released to the public. It's a private conversation. So to pretend that that is what Erica was responding to today, how disingenuous can you be, Andrew? You have to get tired of it at some point. You just got to get tired of it. Again, I will assert publicly, you have my full permission. Go Max, release the entire chain. I have nothing to hide. When I said and I asserted several times, there is not a single thing that he can point to that I said on this show that was leaked to me by Aubrey Leitch, from December 15th, okay? Post getting fired, obviously she spoke out and I've had many conversations with her, but nothing was leaked to me about that I presented on this show about anything that was going on internal. So pretending that this joke that went around of I'm the first thing I'm going to ask her is why'd you murder your husband? Why are you gay? Is a little over the top. Release it all. Let the public judge. I have nothing to hide. And in this investigation, when I went into that room, I believed that, Erica was being a little weird, but I thought that I was going to get straight answers. And
Zach Hamilton jumping in on the chat saying Erica 100% had something to do with Charlie's extinguish. Erica is an EVLCU.
And then she lied to my face. And from that point on, when I clocked her on those lies and when the public kept repeatedly clocking her on lies and seeing your reaction to it like it is right now, I grew increasingly suspicious of Erica. I remain suspicious of Erica. I think that is any person who is being honest. Why don't you respond to what I'm actually saying? I am saying that donors are telling us that that was an AI video or an AI audio that you presented of Charlie Kirk. Wouldn't that be a great time to clear that up? If you're going to sit there and you're going to point the finger at Candace Owens, I would have said, and it is egregious that Candace Owens is implying that we would make this up, that Charlie didn't want me to take over. And then you slam dunk, show the video of Charlie Kirk saying in Aspen that he wanted you to be the CEO. I have made a lot of claims about you lying, and I stand by the claims that I have made on this show, okay? I stand by the claims I have made. Like I said, I spoke to multiple donors that were at that event. It is strange that you will not release that video. It is strange that you are now pivoting to a private text message thread to assert that I said you murdered your husband. What does that mean? Did you shoot your husband? No, I'm not accusing you of shooting your husband. What I am assuming that I have been open about on the show is that it reeks of dishonesty. And that people told you this. There's something about your general nature that comes across as very dishonest. You don't seem to be interested in the very many holes. I wouldn't be able to stomach sitting or standing next to Kash Patel. And yet you do. You're sitting here at a White House Correspondents' Dinner. Why don't you ask him to give the defense what they need if you want a speedy trial, victim? Oh, no, I'm just there to, for a social experiment. Well, you're standing next to the FBI director that's holding up your case. I wouldn't be able to stomach looking at Kash Patel. And you,
Billy Bob Hobnob says drifter on drifter violence. Oh my gosh. A lot of people say Erica is one, but do you think that Candace Owens is also a grifter or a drifter? Oh, drifter. Maybe you said drifter. Never mind. I thought you said grifter for a sec. Never mind. Sorry.
You can. I'm sorry that we're all noticing these sorts of things. and keeping track of the very many lies that you and Turning Point people have told. Biggest of all, which no one wants to address while they're putting on this widow grift, is the lie that you told about the surgeon going rogue, Erica. How about responding to that? The surgeon went rogue. Andrew Colvett went rogue. I wasn't a part of the conversation. You lied about that, Erica. That's a big lie. That's not a small lie. Okay, I'm not coming after you like the internet was in early days for wearing hot pants with JD Vance. I don't care about that. That's not relevant to me, how you style your hair, how you...
Erica Kirk, hot pants with JD Vance. We gotta see this. Come on, what you talking about? Oh, dang, dude, what? Come on, man. What in the world? Oh, yeah. Dude, Erica, go on and do your thing, girl. Go on and do it. Man, okay. Candace isn't lying about that.
You want to do your makeup, how much eyeliner you want to put on. That feels petty to me. But you lying, allegedly, according...
These little black tight pants, I think those are the hot pants, from what I understand. Yeah, those are the ones that are popping up, like that one. Those are the hot pants right there. Yeah, I see it. I see it.
To donors that were present about Charlie saying, I want you to take over if I get killed.
Now made into decorative throw pillows.
Yeah, that matters. You lying about the surgeon and beginning the entire story about a Superman.
Susan Ruggero says hot pants are super short shorts. They look like panties. Those are what hit pants are, not tight pants. Yes, Shane's like IDGAF still. Yeah, it was I sit corrected.
But actually you were on the phone, but you lied to my face and you're pretending.
Oh, sorry. Hot pants, not hit. Thank you.
Do I have to take that because you're a widow? No, that doesn't work for us. Okay. That does not work for us. In fact, Baron Coleman called this out. The widow grift and trying to tell us that she's allowed.
Cathos Prime says, left or right, don't care about you regardless. One day you'll get it though. Laugh aloud. Thank you for jumping in on the chat. Going live every day at 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications.
To lie to us because her husband died is so on its face absurd that it should be rejected by all people everywhere. Take a listen to what Baron Coleman had to say on his show.
Nowhere in the Bible, nowhere in any religious tradition does it say, if you're a widow, you get a free pass to lie to anyone you want, to gaslight everybody you meet, for everything you've ever done in your entire life that is dog doo-doo. You just get overlooked. No one's allowed to bring it up. No one's allowed to talk about it. For the rest of your life, everyone has to fawn all over you and support you because, my God, you're a widow. It does.
Brian Namoto says, there used to be so many great videos of Charlie everywhere. Now TP only has videos of Erica getting caught in another lie. I don't see too many videos of Erica, honestly. I see like the funny ones and stuff, but I don't see too many. I still see a lot of Charlie Kirk videos though.
Doesn't exist. I've looked at scripture. It's not in there. Erica, Graham, Gary, not in here. Andrew. Blake doesn't say it. There's no requirement. I support her as the head of TPUSA. There's no prohibition on me criticizing her for documented falsehoods. None. None. And I'm tired of this gaslight play.
We're all tired of being gaslit all the time. We are so tired of them moving the goalposts and problematizing us, clocking the lies as what is problematic. Like it's problematic that you recognize that she is lying. It's problematic that she keeps lying to your face and you keep noticing it. And she just moves to absurd excuse like, oh, well, there was this private text chain where Candace said, Erica, did I actually, when I arrived, did I say, did you kill your husband? Oh, so it was probably a joke, Erica. It was probably a joke, and you should share the full context. Don't retweet, as she's done. Andrew Colvett, oh no, that's the excuse for why I just said that publicly. This private chain that nobody saw. Everybody recognizes that as a lie. You guys just keep piling on the lies. And again, you can't get on board with the same messaging. Blake Neff already gave a different excuse. Well, she implied, Erica, no, it was this joke that happened in December. Private joke that happened in December. That's the reason we're saying that with the crying emojis. Nobody ever makes a private joke, obviously, that what she meant was that I killed my husband. Okay? Stop being ridiculous. Please hire a new PR team. You are not smarter than people in the public. You just aren't,
some wild
actually.
ones.
And I that's honestly going to be your only saving grace is to just exercise some humility, man. Just come out, say, I am sorry I canceled my event at the last second to UGA team, right? I was embarrassed to come out because there wasn't a lot of people and I'm under a lot of pressure right now. That works. Humanity works, okay? I did tell a stupid lie about the surgeon. It was a big lie. It was a really dumb lie. I don't know why I said it. You know why I said it? Because I was advised to by a really stupid PR agent. That's probably what happened, right? Just deny that in the face of overwhelming evidence. Or respond. Have the courage to respond. Okay, stop with the Hillary Clinton campaign. If people want to ask Hillary Clinton questions about her past and what she did in Haiti, want to ask Erica Kirk questions about her past, whether or not she made up the AI video or AI audio of Charlie Kirk saying, I appoint my wife to take over me if anything happens, answer the questions meaningfully. And if you're going to the White House Correspondents' Center to face people face to face, by golly, Erica, why don't you do that now? Why don't you have a roundtable with the people that are causing you the most grief? Get Baron Coleman. Do it live so the whole world can see it, right? So it's not behind closed doors. As I've said thousands of times over, this does not need to be in person.
All right, we'll be right back.
Okay, don't make unnecessary hurdles. Answer the questions once and for all. Just answer the questions. These are big accusations, Erica. You lied. When I sat down with you and did this, you lied to my face. It doesn't work like that. You don't get to do that, especially when it's regarding a murder. The murder of your husband. It's a weird thing for a widow to tell lies pertaining to Superman next and to throw it on a Dr. Lee Trotter and to claim that you weren't on the phone when you were and you facilitated that entire conversation. That's weird. That's not okay, Erica. So that's all I'll say about that. Okay, now speaking of lies, I'm very happy to now clear up what I was actually doing in Rome. Like I said, I'm on no clock now to respond to varying absurdities. We left off before I went to Rome, and it was Candace and her husband are living separated. I think this was, according to Laura Loomer, we were living separate and in two different houses, and I had dual citizenship. Of course, none of that is true. Then it was George is in a secret gay relationship with Milo. Proof presented was an AI photo of him wearing a Ricky Martin type silk shirt. Very clearly AI, by the way. Just to say this, George had never even met Milo at all, not once in London, until the day that I interviewed him here in this house. That was the first time that he said, hi, that's it. Also, I'm hiding money in a trust from Brigitte. That, again, is just showing legal stupidity. You don't have no idea how lawsuits work. But then when I went to Rome, right before I went to Rome, came her exclusive report that I was potentially paid $500,000 by the Southern Poverty Law Center to communicate David Duke talking points. Was the SPLC paying Candace Owens $500K a year to plagiarize David Duke? And I just didn't respond to that because it's just so kooky and so crazy. She doubled down and she said, because she saw me flying with my husband, that David Yeah, no, she rumbled me. I was fleeing the country because of her stunning report on the Southern Poverty Law Center. And due to her reporting, I was fleeing to Rome and taking my money to Rome, right? Candace Owens had to abruptly cancel her show today and travel abroad. She never alerted her audience of her travel plans. Interesting how she's fleeing the country the same day that I reported her Zionist Jewish lawyer dropping her ahead of an important deadline in her lawsuit with the Macrons next week. Remember, I exposed her secret trust where she's hiding nearly $12 million in real estate, among other assets. Her other lawyer's firm specializes in bankruptcies. Is she moving her money abroad and hiding assets so she can file for bankruptcy? She's fleeing the country. At Emmanuel Macron. She alleges she's in communication with him now. Wow, I am, woo. By the way, it's like 2026. You don't got to get on a plane to move money, man. Just send a wire, right? You don't have to get like completely crazy. And then once I got to Rome, the story was that I was meeting with Nick Fuentes.
Critical 509 jumping in on the chat saying prices are still cheaper than they were under Mr. Joe Biden.
And David Axelrod and Aubrey Leitch of Turning Point USA.
Great job, Democrats. Jason Beatrice jumping in.
Say to have an anti-Trump summit, which was funded by Qatar. I think
User TT, how you doing, buddy?
I'll just read the tweet in its entirety because this is the person that you can actually see why they don't want to deal with her in the White House. You can see what they don't want. They don't want to have to keep responding to clinical insanity. She wrote, are the radical left and the woke right currently converging in Italy for a secret anti-Trump summit just days after Barack Hussein Obama's top advisor, David Axelrod, met with the Pope. Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, and the alleged fired Turning Point USA leaker Aubrey Leitch all suddenly appeared in Rome. A reliable source informed me that Aubrey approached several conservatives last year in an effort to recruit them to attend a paid propaganda trip to Qatar. Did she register with FARA? The woke right is nothing more than a massive grift, and I have suspicion it is all being funded by foreign dark money.
Double ET saying waffle, that's what the left is good at, ignoring the truth.
Okay. And of course, she doubled down on that. It's another AI photo. Joke. An obvious AI photo joke from Aubrey saying, happy birthday, Candace. Like, I guess the three of us decided to get on a small scooter. So the reality, just to clarify for everyone, is that I went to Rome with my husband and my children, who I am not living separately from. Thank you very much. My husband, who I love dearly.
Oh, she's acknowledging that. A lot of people were like, oh, no. They're living separate. They're living separate. Theo Vaughn and Candace have something going on. So there you go. Candace clearing up the air right there.
And no, this was not an abrupt trip, but a completely planned, as it is when you have children. You don't just pick up and flee a country. But it was a planned trip to Rome, which I actually sort of announced back in March at the Catholics for Catholics event when I said this. To be a Catholic is to suffer. Our reward is not here. And I can't tell you how encouraged it is with all of the fighting that happens every single day to be in a room filled with people who share that same heart. And I just want to thank you guys so much for welcoming me and allowing me to be in my infancy, hopefully maturing and toward my confirmation, which will be next month. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Good for her. Awesome.
I was so nervous about this trip for 1,000 different reasons, took this very seriously, obviously spaced out the baptism from the confirmation because I understood the differences between those sacraments, and I wanted to take it very seriously and go around the sun a couple of times and really understand what was happening in the church and my missal and asking every question that I had to ask. And it was an absolutely beautiful trip. I was confirmed by in the old Latin rite.
We gotta support her.
By Cardinal. My priest flew in from London. So
speaking of, make sure you all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every single day of 2026. And if you love this channel and this community, please help it survive by becoming a member or sending a super chat. And look at how nice Candace Owens looks over here. I wish the best for them. That's so cute, so sweet.
Well, that was part of the reason why I had no response to Trump, because I told my priest I would chill, and he was there when that happened and that went down, and he's just given me the best advice. And it was just, I can't
That's cool. Keeping the kids anonymous. Good job.
even explain to you guys how amazing the trip was and what it felt like, how absolutely, I was just nerve-wracked the entire time. I don't know why. I was just so nervous and completely overthinking my confirmation. And yeah, it was just a blessing. It literally was a blessing. And so that is a Scooby-Doo mystery. No, I did not see Aubrey. I did not see Nick Fuentes. I did not see David Axelrod. And yeah, I just wanted you guys to know that I have been confirmed. I'm very excited about that. Something that I wanted to share with you guys. And I did really just forget. Obviously, we recorded the Corby Hall episode because we were trying to cover for Thursday, and I just kind of didn't. Well, we pre-recorded it, so that was probably why I didn't think to mention. But it's done, and I'm very excited. So thank you guys, especially to the Catholics worldwide that have been praying for me, and to Christians worldwide that have kind of seen the journey and understand what we're up against.
Yeah, that's so weird, man. He hasn't posted in about a month. I was like, what's going on? I've been checking in on him. But that's the thing about doing heavy stuff. Like, whenever you start doing some heavy... I don't know, bro. I hope he's okay. I hope he's okay. I don't know.
I know that it can sometimes feel so ugly, but that's kind of the process of fighting for what's right and fighting for what's true. And
Yo, chat. Make sure y'all are nice to each other. unless there's something, but try not to attack people. You can attack their ideas, but don't assume they are something. You don't want to create enemies. We're all friends over here, so let your knowledge of attacking ideas rather than people do that. I'm not gonna just block Eric. Eric's got some cool things to say, but we gotta see how Waffle feels about it.
I feel even more prepared in many ways for the
There you go.
fights to come. And yeah, I guess just everyone, every single person, even you guys who are not Christian yet, or I know that many of you guys have at least been putting your thoughts toward me and hoping for me and my family.
Yeah, let me know what you think, Waffle. Just let me know, buddy.
And praying for our safety day in, day out. We're not the ones that complain every day and tell you about the threats that we endure and tell you about how insane these people are and how difficult they try to make our lives, because I don't want my show to become a whine fest. I think God picks his soldiers. You are never given more than you can handle. And maybe that really is the lesson from my butt ugly face that Trump shared.
Yeah, right,
when
girl, you're attractive.
And I got some uglier pics. So have someone on your team call me, Trump, if you really want to go for the jugular. I could show you it got worse than that. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And we'll be right back after a brief break. All right.
Oh, is that right? Eric's been attacking everybody? Come on, Eric. Take it easy, buddy.
You guys, I want to tell you about Ethos. Spend some more time with her kids that she claims to love so much. Here's another couple of fun.
Some good memes in this one, dude. Gotta tell you that. Yeah. Let's talk it out, y'all. Let's talk it out. There you go. So, we're going live every single day of 2026. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become nice to each other, become friendly, and don't attack people. Attack their ideas if you want, but don't want to make people feel uncomfortable or any of that type of stuff, because we just got a bunch of love over here, and if there is anything bad happening, we just got to fix it. You know, maybe I might need to put somebody on a timeout, or, you know, if they're being too annoying, or repeating themselves too often, or just, you know, attacking everybody. It's no fun, because you put people on the defensive, and it just doesn't really help. You know, it kind of ruins the vibe, and yeah, if that happens, then we got to clean it up. And we don't want to have to do that, man. All right, and we're gonna end it with something funny, because I think y'all like to see funny things. And let's switch this up.
Thank you for your support.
That's for Captain Blackbird. Yeah, we are the world. That's right, 100%. And how are y'all about feet? How are y'all about feet? So this lady does something wild. She's in a car with a man, and the man's asking for some ice cream. And instead of giving it to the man, you see, is she reaching her hand inside that little cup of ice cream? Oh, you guys can't really see it too well. Let me make sure you can see it really well. Take a look at this one. This is a funny one.
After dinner, if you're gonna stay, we could watch the Epstein files, because I've been seeing it everywhere recently.
Bro, what the fuck? Again? Oh my god.
I thought you wanted some.
I wanted a bite with the fucking spoon. With the spoon, Madison.
I guess she got that pedicure right there. That's kind of important, man. You got to get that pedicure going. You got some mixed reviews in the chat. All right, y'all. I love you. The Lord loves you. Make sure you follow your dreams. If you got to put in those, put the mouthpiece on when you go to sleep to fight for your dreams. Do that, you know. And if the haters are just drinking too much haterade and trying to get you guys, let that hate roll off of you like water rolls off of a duck's back. And yeah, thank you, Captain Blackbird. Captain Blackbird gets the W for today, man. You are awesome, man. You are awesome. Yet, Cat the Supreme Tarantino would love this. Thank you, Waffle Jackson. Thank you, brother. Thank you. All right, y'all. Until next time, I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. The Lord loves you. Let's do it. Blackbird is king of the wild. Bless ups to the chat.